That Thomas the Tank Engine.
Do you know what it is, mate? Just because someone's just shown me a someone showed me a Beyonce video of her dancing to Thomas Tank Engine, and it's so well synced.
The brilliant. Best one is like a load of cyber goths going for it to the Thomas the Tank Engine.
That chestnut.
Yeah.
That video must have dubbed over with like literally any song ever.
Testing.
You're good?
I'm just going to listen to myself back on the Twitch thing. Testing.
You're good?
I'm just listening to myself back on the Twitch thing. Testing.
God, it's warm down here tonight.
It's been reasonable, I suppose, but anything's an improvement over fucking Friday or whatever it was. Christ.
Yeah, it's supposed to be bad again next weekend, isn't it?
Oh, really?
It's supposed to be all right. Next 2 days are still a bit cooler, but then heat again.
Oh. Right, so we are live on the Twitch stream. I'm going to start recording in a few moments.
Hey, I can see your face.
Hey! Wearing the Mojo t-shirt.
Oh, there's a bit of lag.
Yeah, there will be some lag.
There it is.
Trying out with a webcam.
Fucking minge.
Lovely.
Alright, hang on. I mean, we all knew it, but you have to just...
Okay, so I think we're about to start the podcast. So, obviously, we've got Paul in here, which is awesome. Community member. Always good to have a community member in. Trip's listening. Trip, are you going to say hello? No?
Probably got his Litlands.
How are you?
How did
Didn't expect to see you here. How's it going? Oh, he's muted himself. He's just come in to listen.
Yeah, that's fine.
So it seems that people will join the Discord room just to listen to the podcast instead of going to the Twitch stream, which is fine.
Well, they get all the fun bits before you edit it out and ruin it, don't you?
Oh yeah, that's it. Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna hit the record button as well. Brilliant. So
Does that mean I can't say fuck anymore?
you can say anything you want.
Swinging balls.
Oh, it's going to be fucking Hunters, isn't it? I fucking know it.
Right, Darren, we're about to start, alright, mate? Just letting you know.
Yeah, no worries.
I know what you're like.
Order.
Right, so we're going to go, obviously, me, and then we'll go Matt, and then we'll go Darren, and then we'll go Paul. Okay?
Cool.
Alright. And a 3, and a 2, and I'm just trying to remember what episode number on, and a 1. Hello and welcome to Mojo Radio, episode 466 for Wednesday, the 1st of all of... Oh, fuck, just start again. My thing's just...
Balls it up already.
It's because my computer suddenly froze.
Right?
Yeah, it's fine. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to Mojo Radio, episode 466 for Wednesday, the 1st of August. We are in August now. Yes! 2018. I'm your host, Mark Webb, gamertag Webby317, and joining me on this fine evening is...
It's Matt, also known as Seta or Setagin, and I'm just cracking over the cider, so, you know, think of something witty.
Sensei Switch.
And Daddy Ikin, podcast virgin.
Oh, Daddy Ikin is here. Hello. Woo. You can see me wave because I'm live on camera here. Hello. Yeah. Awesome. So it's not. So Daddy Ikin is a long-time community member, first-time podcaster. Very nice to have you on, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the invite.
That's all right. So just tell us a little bit about yourself. I see you've gone from hardcore gamer to fitness freak, and you've lost quite a lot of weight over the last year or so.
Shame.
Yeah. I've done a few London marathons in the past, but I did the last one this year, which was really good. It was a really hot day, but it was really, really good.
Awesome.
Kept the running going from then. Yeah, loving it. Love any kind of sport. Football, I'll try and play when I can. Obviously, with kids, it's difficult to do anything, video gaming and fitness. But no, I'm quite an active guy like that. And when I can, obviously, video gaming comes precedence over everything else. It's cool.
Nice, awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. So, you still get? Do you still get much gaming in?
A few hours in the evening is about it, really. Lots of the bigger games have kind of passed me by because I just don't have the time to get into them.
Yeah.
Because you don't have time to actually learn them. I find sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just to pick them up, and those days of just playing Oblivion for 17 hours have just gone, I'm afraid.
Well,
so
games now, like a lot of new games that come out, are very big time sinks, aren't they? So it's very much a struggle.
Yeah. Yeah. And I find to do the kind of like sometimes you pick it up and then you put it back down and go back to it a week later and you've just forgotten how to do anything on it. So with life and things, but the little games for me, just played through Batman again.
Nice.
Things, little games you pick up and play are ideal for me.
Brilliant. Good time. So we're going to get you talking about some of the latest games you've been playing shortly.
Cool.
We'll just go through all our games, but first I need to make an announcement. Dun, dun, dun.
Drum roll.
So I've started up a new YouTube channel. Nothing to do with Mojo. So the new YouTube channel is called Mark's Gaming Den. And basically what Mark's Gaming Den is all around is me, Mark. Not Webby, Mark. So everyone knows me as Webby, but I'm Mark. And basically it's just a video series that I'm going to be doing. A look behind the man, behind the podcast, and talking about things that we generally don't talk about on the podcast. Maybe some controversial stuff along the way, doing some interviews and some tips and tricks and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Looking forward to doing some more videos. My introduction video is already up on the channel, and you can probably see my little logo if you're watching the video on the Twitch stream of myself and a little pussycat. That's meant to be Bella, but Bella's not ginger, but that's the only kind of cat I could get in the logo. But that's cool.
You had a whole night shift, and that was the best colour job you could do.
I know. So yeah, it's just a new thing for me because I have tried to do YouTube videos in the past, but for the Mojo channel it's been quite difficult. So I thought, well, if I'm not going to rely on everybody else, I'll just rely on myself and just do one either do videos by myself or try and get other people on from time to time and make sure there's video. That's just cool. So
sounds good.
Yeah. I think Trip McNeely might want to say hello.
Or not.
I don't know. Hello. This podcast is going to be like 2 hours, mate, so it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, we'll waffle on for fucking...
Ever.
Yeah.
As usual. We waffle on. We know how to waffle. So,
I love a nice waffle.
I'm going to talk about some video games, people. Video games.
Never done that before, have we?
And then maybe some news later, but I don't know if there is any, but we will see.
Well,
This
I mean,
video games, there's always news.
we've got the Manchester thing. That's news.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So, Arcade Club. We've been trying to organise a date for this for absolutely ages, and we finally made a date, and that date is the 15th of September. So we want all of you to be there. It would be absolutely awesome for as many people from the community as possible to turn up. To get any directions or anything, the website is Arcade Club. So just Google Arcade Club and you will find the place. So yeah, arcadeclub.co.uk. Gives you some information, and if you go to find us, you can see the address there on your screen if you're watching it on Twitch. If not, just go to that website and try and make it, guys. So basically, the plan for me and Matt and my missus is we're going to travel up the night before, so we're going to get a hotel, or we might even get an Airbnb. That's what I was looking for. And share a place depending on how many people want to come. So That'll be awesome. Alex Crowley's already confirmed that he's going to be there as well with some of his guys. So there's going to be plenty of people there already. So that's going to be pretty cool. The really cool thing I like about this place is it's got 3 floors. One's retro arcade machines. One of them is a modern one. So but it's got pinball machines as well, and like some PCs and VR stuff and stuff as well. But I really want to go for the pinball machines and the old arcade games and the multiplayer stuff, of course, because that'll be really, really cool.
And don't forget the rhythm game room where we can probably hold the first annual Mojo Interactive Dance Dance Revolution contest.
Yes, that'll be absolutely awesome.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. So yeah,
I mean, I'm gonna be shite at it, but I'll give it a go.
Awesome. It'll be fun. I think it'll be a good time. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'd love to see as many people from Mojo come as possible. It is on a weekend for all you people that work normal jobs, so there's no excuse. So let's do it. And it's only £15 a day, and all the machines are then, included in that price. And there's a bar, and you can get food as well. So what else can you want out of life? Arcade games, food, and beer.
Dream.
Living the dream.
Definitely.
So, I'm going to talk about a few games I've been playing. So the first game I have played this week is pretty shit, but I need to talk about this. It's on the Xbox One, and it is an Xbox One exclusive, I think, and it's a game...
You fear?
Yeah, it's called Vigor. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of this. So Vigor is trying to be like a bit like PUBG. So it's you dropped into a map with a load of people, and you basically have to... You start off with nothing, and then you have to scavenge for items and weapons and shit like that. And then at some point, there's an airdrop in the map. And the whole point of the game is get to the airdrop, steal the shit, and then escape the map without getting killed.
Can I just interject here and say that what you're watching there just looks like PUBG with weather?
Yes, it does look like PUBG. This is what I'm saying. It is very much like PUBG, but the controls suck balls. It's really just janky, and it's only available on for Xbox preview people. So if you're in the Xbox Live preview program, you will be able to download this through your preview app. Don't bother. It is really shit.
It looks pants.
Yeah, so it's just... I just wanted to mention, don't waste your time with this, people. It's just wank. Absolutely wank. Has anyone else played it?
It seems strange for someone else to try jumping on this same bandwagon again, though. After there's already 2 really well-known games out there doing it.
If you click back about 10 seconds in that, I assume, YouTube video you're playing there, just the fucking box he opens clips through the wall.
Yeah, it's just...
Fucking fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyone else played this?
No.
No?
It's on Xbox.
Right, I'm going to move on then. So the next game I have been playing is The Crew 2 on the Xbox One X.
The Crew Poo.
The Crew Poo. It's really good. I'm actually really enjoying The Crew 2, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's really shit, blah, blah, blah.
Because Horizon 4 now, yeah.
Yeah, as soon as Horizon 4 comes out, then obviously this game's going to be dead in the water. I don't think this is sold very well because it's already down to 30 quid absolutely everywhere. But for me, it's kind of perfect because I can just pick it up, play it for like 20 minutes and put it down again, do a couple of races on a boat or a plane or drive a car around. So it's I'm not really like bashing it full on, if that makes sense. I'm literally just picking up in dribs and drabs. And when you haven't got a lot of gaming time, or like say your kid's gone to sleep and he's going to wake up in like half an hour and you don't want to get really invested in something, this is one of those perfect games you can just pick up and play. So, and it is fun, but I think if I was playing it hardcore, I probably would have gotten a bit bored of it by now, to be honest, because the world does feel very empty. The races do get very samey, but I do like the car customization. Even though I don't like the way the car customization is handled, because you can't it's like loot. So you do a race and then car parts drop as loot, and then you can equip them to your car. So it's very much like the original Crew in that aspect.
It's not ideal. I didn't really like that system.
Mm.
I feel like you should earn money and then be able to buy bits with money because, you know, you don't win a race and then suddenly someone opens a crate and go, "Here's a new spoiler."
Yeah, true, but I just I agree with that, but I still think it's fun. I think the premise is fun and it's just something different, you know, just something different. So, okay, I'm gonna be bashing through my games, really am.
Mazes.
Okay, so Destiny 2. Let's talk about Destiny 2, shall we? I've been playing it. And it's really bizarre because I picked up on the Xbox, started playing it on the Xbox, and I was like, I'm going to go back and play this on PC again. It's just, I'm sorry to do the comparisons between console and PC, but it just plays so much better on PC, just so much smoother. And I've actually got people to play it with on PC now. I've only got one friend to play it with an Xbox, and that's Phil, and we do struggle to match our times. So I've been playing it on PC again, and I've noticed, we need to have this discussion. There's some new DLC coming out called Forsaken, and it's, well, on PC it's 30 quid for this extra DLC. I think on consoles it's 40. And what else they're doing, what Activision are doing though, which I think's a bit fucking cheeky, is you can also buy a year 2 pass on top of that, so it brings the total up to 70 quid. So throughout year 2 you get extra things like guns and shit. It's like, are you like, they're just trying to rape the fan base completely out of money on this, and
that's what all games as a service do, though.
But I just think
There's
it's
nothing
wrong.
new.
I just think it's wrong.
Oh, it is wrong, but like people give them money for it, so they don't care. At the end of the day.
So this is why I think they've done this price drop on the base game now, because what they've done is they've dropped the base game down to like 10 or 15 quid, hoping to get people hooked, and then those people who are hooked will spend all that money on the expansions.
It's like a dealer giving you a free sample.
They've turned Destiny into a gateway drug.
They have.
It's like what a lot of companies are doing that with, even with the free games on the Xbox Live Gold games. They're all kind of games which get you into the base game and then push the rest of the bits and pieces on there, because the base game is really, I think now, just to entice you to buy everything else.
Yeah, completely.
For Honor, I think, For Honor's going free next month, and it's just basing before they get For Honor 2 out, and to get all the bits and pieces to go with it. It's just luring you into it from the start.
You know what though? I know I've slagged off Destiny 2 in the past. I mean, it is beautiful. That is a big thing. But now you mentioned For Honor. That is pants.
Yeah, but it's almost like the base game is given to you as a demo for you to buy all the other bits, and a lot of games are doing that now. It's the way it's going.
Yeah,
it is a good idea for in theory if your game's got like a 15 quid DLC or something coming out for it, and it's been out on the market for 6 to 8 months, so the second-hand price of it's proper plummeted. Like, there's nothing wrong, in my opinion, for that publisher to say, tell you what, gives a bit of money, you can have that as your games of gold. It'll help us sell some more of the DLC.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with Destiny, it's really weird because I really enjoyed the campaign, you know, and then I was like, and then I kind of got to the end game and was like, I've got nothing to do. And then I got rid of my PlayStation 4 copy, then I bought it on the PC, redid the campaign again, really enjoyed that because I did it all in co-op, kind of fell off the wagon again. And then I've picked it up this week. I've played for about 4 or 5 hours this week with a couple of guys from work. And I haven't actually played any of the extra DLCs that came out with my season pass, so I've been going through those this week, and they've actually been really, really enjoyable. But I think with Destiny, a lot of the enjoyment comes through playing the game in co-op. I think if you're playing it on your own, it's just a very lonely and mundane experience.
We had this conversation a couple of days ago, and it was like I was saying, because not I felt slightly guilty. I was just slagging off Destiny in the office, and someone felt a little bit hurt about it. So apology. And I realised that probably one of the reasons I'm not enjoying it is just because I've been so bored because I've been playing it on my own.
Yeah, you need to play it with people.
It is just a dull, lonely experience. I mean, it's the same as any other shooter except
It looks
limited
really,
by stuff like
and it looks really, really
story.
good, doesn't it? That's the problem. It does,
Yeah.
as you said earlier, it does look stunning.
Oh, it's
But
beautiful, especially like on ultra wide at like full graphics and stuff. And it is a stunning game.
Hmm.
But I think it's just so limited if you're playing it on your own because it's not meant to be played on its own.
No, and I think one of the things that's missing in Destiny, and this is where I draw a comparison to Warframe, which me and Matt have been playing quite a lot this past week, is you can't, like, when you go into a mission, it doesn't automatically put you with randoms, so you're not in a random squad, because that would actually be quite a good way of meeting fellow gamers and making new friends within that game, and it would probably actually make people play the game for longer and build up more of a community. Whereas it just puts you in these missions all on your own, so you die easier, and it's just a bit boring. So, like in Warframe, every single mission it searches for other players to do that mission with, and 9 times out of 10 you'll put in with a full squad of people. Yeah, and that just makes it a lot better. So Destiny desperately needs that. It really, really does, and I think it would be onto a winner there, because have your voice chat on, going with some randoms. Yeah, of course you're going to meet a load of dickheads, but on some occasions you're going to meet some really cool people and make new friends, and that's what gaming online is all about, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like it's weird for me because I've been on BattleNet for so many years now, and like I've got a huge list of people on my contacts, but none of them play Destiny. So some kind of matchmaking system would be fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm so surprised that they didn't do this with Destiny 2, because it was a feature that fans of Destiny 1 were saying that they wanted, and you would have thought that they would have listened to their fans. So yeah, I mean, if I'm going to be playing it some more, hopefully this week. I'm actually really enjoying it again. So yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. So, anything else on Destiny? Anybody?
do you think there'll be a Destiny 3? How bad this one's done compared to the first one?
Do you know what? I think it depends a lot on how this new season goes.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Pretty much the whole opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is weird though for a game that like had so much goodwill amongst its fan base at the end of the original game's run, for them to pretty much ignore everything people wanted for the second game.
Yeah, it's really weird.
And then wonder why there was a huge backlash from the fan base.
Yeah.
Because I remember the original, people was playing it literally up to the the launch of Destiny 2.
Yeah.
They were just playing it. It was so popular. People are always still playing Destiny. Even some people hate it, some people liked it, but Destiny 2 just has not seemed to have that spark at all.
Sorry, I'm being distracted by people talking in the chat.
How dare they?
I know. I mean, I have a bit of a different opinion to that, because I mean, I couldn't really get into the original Destiny. I tried really hard to like it, and I just couldn't be asked. And then Destiny 2 came out, and I just feel like the main campaign that they had just really sucked me in. It was just a lot of fun. And I think that story aspect was something that was hugely missing in the original game. Anyway, I'm going to move on to another game. And this is game... Sorry? Yeah,
that was it.
Okay. Oh, look. It's Darren's favourite game. Final Fantasy 14.
Hey.
So all I'm going to say is I've been playing this some more this past week as well. Not a lot, just trying to catch up with some of the story stuff, but hugely back into Final Fantasy 14 again and absolutely loving it. So that's all I want to say. The new content is really, really cool. It's got me really engaged in the game again. A lot of story arcs for some of the classic characters are absolutely fantastic. And it's just a world that I just love coming back to over and over again. It's just amazing. Anything to add, Darren?
Not really. I've been on it this week, but obviously just doing the regular sort of stuff, basically dailies, and waiting for the Monster Hunter DLC to hit next Tuesday.
Nice.
And I think the DLC for Monster Hunter from Final Fantasy is hitting this Friday.
Ooh, that sounds interesting. Okay, I'm going to move on to another game I've been playing. And this game is Octopath Traveler on the Nintendo Switch. Oh, I love this game so much. I've just been questing, going around the world. I still have yet to pick up the last person out of the 8, so I've still got 7 of the characters. But it's just, as you can see from the video, it's just proper turn-based. But I can't put into words again just how much I'm loving this game. Classic JRPG. You've got the classic story. The graphics are absolutely beautiful. It has that really nice kind of 2D/3D pixel art. 2.5D, we will say. And it's just a perfect companion for the Nintendo Switch. It really, really is. If you have a Switch and you love RPGs or you just want to try something new, it's definitely worth picking up. I'm really engaged in the story in this. The backstories for all the characters, and there's got some really good comedy in there. And as I was saying last week, it does get quite difficult later, so you really need to start leveling your dudes when it gets to a certain point. But again, there are some characters, well, there's a couple of characters in there where that let you actually recruit some of the NPCs to fight with you in the battles, and that can be really, really helpful depending on the NPCs that you get. So, all in all, I just want to mention this game again. It's absolutely fantastic, and I will be playing more of it this week.
Cool.
It's
Cool.
fantastic.
So jealous.
Yeah,
I really want it.
Next game, then, is a game that I picked up this week, and I really shouldn't have done.
Oh, but shouldn't you?
But there we go. No Man's Sky. Picked it
Yay.
up.
Oh.
And yeah, so basically No Man's Sky has been out, for over a year now? Was it? Yeah. And we were all, I was one of the people poo-pooing it. No Man's Lie. That's what we called it. No Man's Lie came out and was just not what people were saying it was, right? It was just a mess. And people just didn't enjoy it. I mean, I admit I didn't really actually play much of it when it came out. I think I spent about half an hour with it when it first came out.
Let's be honest, it was a bit shit then.
Yes. And but I will say, I still don't like how you have to load in the game and start the game before you can start tweaking your settings, your graphic settings. Yeah. I just find that really, really strange. So console gamers don't have to worry about this. But I'm actually finding this game really intriguing. I've put quite a few hours into this now, and it's just a really strange addiction. And what I will compare this game to is it's like Minecraft in space. I know that's a really weird comparison to make, but when you start the game, like, you can't do any of the Minecraft stuff that I'm talking about. So when you first start the game, it's literally you've crash landed on this planet, and it's kind of a tutorial on how to gather resources and to create items. So then that's how you fix your ship at the beginning of the game. And then you get your ship and you fly off into space and you go and do stuff. It's actually got quite a cool little campaign going on. You've always got a main campaign goal to get to, so that's cool.
There's a couple of different objectives though, isn't there?
Yeah, so I've been following just the main objectives. There's also secondary objectives. So my main objectives have been to like find the source of this unknown signal, and then it takes me to like a space station to talk to some aliens to get info on certain stuff, and then you have to go and get some resources to make this certain object, etc. And it's actually been quite interesting. So every planet's different. They're all procedurally generated. They all have their own dynamic weather systems. You've got like frozen planets, desert planets, planets that are very much like Earth. My list could go
Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, but it's the thing about No Man's Sky that I don't think people realise is it's actually got a hell of a lot going on. So obviously every planet's different, but what you need to watch for when you're playing the game are your life support systems as well. So your oxygen, which is shown with a bar with a heart next to it, and then your radiation. And those bars go down very slowly depending on what planet you're on and the conditions of that planet. And you need to gather resources as you're playing the game to refill those systems, right? So it's not just that. So you've got like your mining laser, Well, that runs out, so you need to make sure you've mined certain resources so you can refill that as well. And the most annoying thing in this game that I will say, you land your ship on a planet and then you don't have the fuel to fucking launch again. That is so annoying. That really pisses me off. So
it's ridiculous, isn't it?
It's so stupid.
I've literally just touched down. My engines are still on, and I can't take off. Great.
Yeah. So there's two components to your ship. You've got the launch thrusters, and then you've got your fuel just for the normal engine. So your launch thruster is the one where every time you launch from, obviously a standstill, it uses one of those. So if you haven't got any of those in your inventory, then you're not fucked. It just means you're going to have to spend the next 20 minutes running around the planet trying to find these certain resources and then making sure you've had enough resources to initially build this machine which turns resources into other resources, and you got to make sure you have fuel for that machine as well. Otherwise you're going to have to run around to find fuel for it to make the fucking fuel to launch your fucking ship. So there is a lot to learn in this game, but once you get used to the systems, it's actually quite rewarding after a while, because in the back of your mind, right, before I launch, I'm going to make sure I've got a couple of these things in my inventory so I can launch again, and I've got enough fuel so I can jump to this system, and I'm not going to be fucking spending 10 minutes mining asteroids, so I've got some fucking gold or whatever to go and sell at the market board to buy stuff at a space station if I want. So there's a hell of a lot going on in this game, and I'm actually really, really enjoying it. One aspect of this game that I haven't tried yet is the multiplayer, so I'm not really sure how that works, but I'm really intrigued to give that a go.
Give it a bash later if you want.
Yeah, so me and Matt will play, so that's fine. I know a lot of people in the community have got this on the Xbox, and a lot of people have got this on the PlayStation. I think it's great that it's available on all systems. I only got it on the PC because it was really cheap on the PC. I think the Xbox version is actually the most expensive version. It's £40 on the Xbox, a tenner on the PS4, and 15 quid on the PC. So,
what a turnaround for the game, though. At the end of the day,
yeah, I think it's amazing.
Definitely.
They could have easily just left it alone, like after all the negativity when it came out.
Yeah, this game was meant to be a huge flop, and a year later they've done a load of stuff. And really improved it, and it's actually really, really good.
They've literally polished a turd.
Yeah, I think it's amazing.
No, they're serious props to those developers. They have put in some serious work into fixing so much of what was wrong with it on release.
It just sort of almost proves that it just wasn't ready to come out.
Yeah.
When it did, just needed a little bit longer. But I think because it had been shown off for about 2 or 3 years before it did actually release, that they just thought, like, we can't really make them wait any longer. But
that's what happens when you
it didn't do them really any good for launching it sort of unfinished, did it?
No, definitely not. But I think now it's a perfect time to pick it up. I mean, there's a lot of sale. I mean, Steam, it's back up to full price, but when the next update came out, it was down to £20. I picked up a code from Green Man Gaming. That was 15 quid. So you can find some good deals. PlayStation is a great place to pick it up for a tenner. It's selling for £10 in Tesco's. But I'm guessing a lot of people want to play on Xbox because of X Power, but you're going to be paying the premium for the game on there. But no matter where you're playing it, just know that it is actually a really, really good game. It's very much a time sink game though, but you will be rewarded if you spend some time in this game. And
I think that's what people want, though, from a proper space exploration game. I mean, just look at Elite Dangerous and stuff. You want the in-depth time sink sort of management aspects of it. It's part of the allure. It's part of the old genre that's dying out.
It's done really, really well as well. Like, I can't explain how just a cool feeling it is when you're flying through space, you've scanned a planet, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to go and land on that planet, and it's like, and then you get into that planet's atmosphere, and there's all this like fire going around. You're like, oh my god, I'm coming from space onto this planet, and then it's cloudy, and then the clouds vaporize, and you can just see all this land and like sea and lakes stuff. I'm like, fucking hell, this is like the little kid in me just cannot comprehend like how far games have come now. Like,
It's quite cool because
And it's an indie game, really, when you think
pretty
about
much,
it.
yeah.
It's an
Yeah,
indie
that's the
game.
most amazing point, isn't it? It's an indie game which is just taken off massively, and it's brilliant. It's good, great story.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah,
can
I mean,
think of like Hellblade was an indie game technically, but they were a AAA developer. They just decided to publish it as an indie at the time.
Oh, fair.
But obviously, they are like a full-on indie group, the No Man's Sky lot.
Yeah, and I think it's a great game. I have to, you got to give your hats off to, to the development team of this game. They turned it around, and I think it's a true gem. So, yeah, good game. Anything else you want to add on this, guys?
No, pretty much
I think you
covered
sold
that.
it. I think you sold it to me. I think I might pick it up.
Pick it up, mate. Pick it up.
Have you guys had
looks
any
good.
experiences with people trying to extort money out of you, like pirates?
No. Is this a thing?
Oh, right.
Does this happen?
It is, yeah. It happened
wicked.
to Sly when I was in party chat the other day. He'd just gone to a base to pick up some blueprints for a new mining tool that he was after or something. And a load of pirates wanted money off him, and he was like, "Nah, fuck off." And I think they blew him out the sky as soon as he left the station.
Yeah. What you do have to watch out for as well in the game is on the planets. There's for some reason there's drones that float around on the planet, and when they scan you, they fucking attack you.
I never really understood any of that. It's like just suddenly here's this massive galaxyscape, and by the way, there's drones as well.
Yeah.
They're like the GTA police of the galaxy.
Yeah, and then
the more pissed off they get, the bigger drones you get. So trying to fry your eyebrows off.
Yeah, so if you just destroy the drone, more drones will come after you, and then if you get into your ship and escape into space, spaceships come after you, and you're dogfighting, and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, I just want to chill out and explore this bloody planet. Fuck off. So it's just annoying.
I have to say, I'm glad they've worked on the biome algorithm because, like you say, it's really interesting when you come down to a planet now and there's all these cool things and these interesting islands and lakes and shit. And
Yeah.
remember back on release because I pre-ordered it originally, and everything was kind of the same sludgy brown color with green water, and there was just one-legged weird warthog frog bastards hopping about the place, and that was pretty much it for every planet. So I'm glad they worked on.
Yep. Right, I'm going to move on to my last game I've been playing. So myself and Matt have been playing Warframe. Warframe. And yeah, we've been really, really enjoying it. What else can I say? Like, I've been really. I mean, it's a really good game to be playing with people that have been playing it a long time because I can get a lot of tips and a lot of help, which is really, really cool. And I've now maxed out my Frost Prime, so I'm going to be using a different frame at some point when I probably go on after the podcast, maybe. I'm not sure. And it's just really, really cool. I'm loving playing this game in co-op. And again, going to compare it to Destiny. This has a lot more content than Destiny. It's third person, though. But the shooting mechanics are really, really cool. And I don't know what... So we did some quests the last couple of days, Matt. Are they weeklies?
Yeah. No, I was going to talk about that because what's happened over the weekend is basically they've added some end-game content in the form of what's called a tactical alert. And this one is actually a resurrected old one from like 2015.
Okay.
So I think these were originally going to be like one-shot ideas of just like interesting flavor bits of mini campaign for people to sort of get higher rewards with.
Oh, nice.
But I think what they're doing is kind of revisiting a few of those because we were watching a stream from the other week and the new content on Venus that you've got streaming there, called Fortuna, potentially is going to be arriving at the end of summer or autumn, which is a lot sooner than anyone thought, I think.
Nice.
So I think what they're trying to do is give people a little bit of something endgamey to do to kind of, give them the time to polish it up and get it out.
Plus, it's good to let people play some content that they might not have had at the time because they weren't playing the game then.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's anything like particularly outlandish or anything, but it's just some harder missions with higher level enemies and longer, there's like a defense with 20 waves at the beginning of it, which was actually pretty tricky, to be fair.
It was, yeah. It took us a while. So the first time I did this without Matt, and I went in with a load of randoms, and we're all quite low level, so we got absolutely owned. But going in with higher level people, it's great because you guys have been leveling me with me just standing around, just dancing to the funky beats of your weapons. So that's just cool. So you can get pulled through and level your stuff quite easily. But I do want to say for new people to this game, it is actually quite confusing, and a lot of the systems are not explained, like how to add your weapons, add the mods to your weapons, how you're meant to level them, all that sort of stuff.
It's quite odd, like we said a couple of weeks ago, me and Tom, that DE Digital Extremes are just not very good at teaching you stuff about Warframe. Like, the systems are all there, and you can go and look it up and learn it, and it's all brilliant, but they won't spoon feed you anything at all, which is odd considering most games have things like, I don't know, tutorials.
Yeah. It is very strange because as a new player, it was very, very confusing. There's still a lot of systems I'm probably confused about, but it's just the simple things of, like, you equip a gun, then you need to equip your mods. Oh, you can upgrade your mods, and it's all very... There's a lot of menus to dig through.
Can you still craft in it? Because I remember you could craft in it when I think I played. Because I was crafting weapon upgrades and stuff.
Massive part of it.
There you go. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's really, really great for co-op, and I've been having a really good time on it. I know a lot of people in our community are playing it on multiple systems again, which is great. Obviously, I'm playing it on PC. So if any of you guys have also been playing it on PC, just hit me up or hit Matt up, and we will really enjoy gaming with you.
Yeah, more the merrier.
Anything else on Warframe?
I mean, I can't really think of anything else other than I'm so looking forward to hoverboards.
So I've put about... I think I've put about 20 hours into the game now, right? It's free to play. I haven't spent any money on this.
I have... Oh, I just hit 300 hours.
Wow. So it's really weird how it's kind of opposite to the Destiny formula, and I'm going to say this again. So obviously with Destiny, you buy the game, you have to buy all the season passes, buy all the expansions, blah, blah, blah. New expansions come out for Warframe, you don't... They're just there. You don't pay any money, right?
Yeah, it's just a patch.
And I've leveled up, my frame to maximum, or 2 frames to maximum now. Leveled up a load of weapons.
You think you have.
And mods or whatever. So obviously, don't give me any spoilers. And there's a lot of content that I can get through quite easily. At my current state. At my current level of my equipment, right? So. I still am trying to figure out why I would spend money in this game. I really am.
You just don't need to. The reason I do is because I'm massively impatient.
So it's basically those systems where... So you can buy frames with real money, right? But you can also earn them just from getting the blueprints and collecting the items and then letting your machine build them and that. So really, if you're a proper hardcore gamer, you don't need to spend any money in Warframe, really.
It's not even hardcore gamer. Like, really, if you just got the willingness to, like, nip in for for an hour every day and do a specific type of mission to get a specific type of relic, and then just, you're willing to wait a few weeks of a bit of, RNG, we'll say, and then you can get it. It's not even that difficult.
Yeah.
Just a bit of luck, really, and knowing how to play.
Awesome.
You don't have to constantly... Yeah, pretty much. But you don't have to, like, constantly be absolutely tip-top, massively hardcore. The missions to get the relics from aren't that difficult. You need some decent gear, but you don't need to have, like, ridiculous game-breaking hilarity like, I've got.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it is a game I recommend. If you've got time to kill and you want something different to play, then, I think you should check it out. I know a lot of people in the community have checked it out. So, yeah, it's cool.
And that was one thing I was going to mention, actually. Which was, obviously, Fortuna is going to be the next big update, which is the Plains of Venus stuff, which is what's going on the Twitch stream right now. They're demoing some of the animal hunting, capturing. Look at the little fuzzy dude. And after that, the next big update will most likely be something called Railjack, which is the sort of group-based spaceship crew type FTLE running around fixing systems and blowing up big shit simulator. Turns out the ships in Railjack will be clan based, so basically guilds.
Oh, nice.
And what guild will do is contribute resources that they've earned over the course of playing the game to build, to get together enough to build the ship in the first place, and then I'd imagine contribute more and more resources later on to upgrade bits of it and make more powerful weapons, better engines, better shields, all that kind of stuff. So it's a real community effort, and it looks basically like, you already have what's called the clan dojo, which is guild housing, but Railjack's really going to add another element to that, I think.
Nice. So yeah, that is Warframe, people. Check it out.
Yes.
Okay, that is literally all the games I've played this week, guys. So
Nice.
Let's move on to... Who was it, Matt, next?
Oh, go on then. One day I'll shut up. So obviously, Mark just covered a load of stuff I was playing. Warframe, which is one of the 3 games I've managed to play this week. The second being World of Warcraft again. Still, whatever you want to say. The pre-patch for Battle for Azeroth has landed, and with it, stat squishes and spec changes and all these nice things. And the first part of the pre-expansion quest line called War of Thorns. Now, obviously, I haven't played the Alliance side because I'm not filth, but the Horde side is getting really interesting. You're fighting alongside Sylvanas and Saurfang, who are 2 of my favourite characters in Warcraft lore, heading up to Darkshore towards Teldrassil, the Night Elf home city, and you do that little bit of quest line on one character. You can skip it on the rest of your ones, because what that does is unlock a series of daily world quests.
Okay.
Which basically gear catch-up mechanics for your ult.
Ah.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
it's dropping really decent gear. Item level 210. Now, I'm a little out of track in terms of item level after the stat squish with sort of, heroic and mythic raiding, but I'm pretty sure it's decent gear. And there's always a chance for that to drop as like Titan Forged or Warforged or whatever the hell that's like 10 item levels higher. So there's some really powerful stuff going out, and there's a bit of unhappiness in general with what they've done to some of the specs. I think there's an elemental shame, and I'm not particularly thrilled with what they've done to us, but they've admitted themselves that they ran out of time to fix that spec. So more changes will be coming in 8.1, which will be the first main patch after the expansion.
You ever think they'll give you the option to allow you to change classes on the fly?
No, and I wouldn't want to.
Fair.
Because there's like more and more MMOs now are allowing you to do that, so it does stop the need for alts.
So I like alts personally.
Oh, alts can be great if you're like, oh, I like this character, but I really wanted to create, I don't know, like an evil giant orc dude or something, you know what I mean? And then like the alt gives you a chance to do that and see what they're like.
The thing is, like, for starters, I just don't play Alliance. I just don't like them. I have like Alliance alts on different servers, but meh, pink squishy bastards. What I like about having specific characters and specific classes is the fact that you get your own kind of, you can even internalize your own narrative with them. So like, I've had the same main class since day one for me, and I've had my troll shaman. And for me, someone that's being an MMO player yourself, you get emotionally invested in these things because you spend so much time on these characters. So for me, being this troll shaman that has seen pretty much every piece of endgame content there has been to offer since Burning Crusade, Setagin he's vanquished Kil'jaeden from the Sunwell. He's destroyed the Lich King himself. He's become the Farseer of the Earthen Ring, and all of this stuff. Even though I don't bother with role playing, RP servers, it's just something that's like, Set has done that. None of my other alts have, but they've each had their own adventures and stuff in different ways, and I think that's quite important for me, at least, to have that separation.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, personal
See,
opinion,
whereas, just comparing that to Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
The second most popular MMO after WoW. I like their system where you equip a new weapon and it starts you at level 1, like a new character, right? Because each weapon is like a different character. You get different skills and stuff. And I like that because I'm not having to go through the story again, because fuck that. You know
Oh
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
well you started off as a basically a gladiator,
Yeah.
then into paladin tank, didn't you? And
Yeah.
now you're a machinist DPS.
Yeah, but I've leveled up, 4 or 5 different classes, but they're all the same character. But each class has its own story in the game
Yeah.
which I like. So each each way of doing it has in WoW having your different characters is cool. And
See,
but I like the
they've
Final Fantasy method because I just like to know that I've got one dude and that's it.
to an extent, I agree with you in the fact that each class has their own stories, and that is an advantage to that system.
Yeah.
What WoW's not traditionally had is that, class-specific storylines, other than a few little bits of quest here and there.
Mhm.
But what they've done, I think, in most recent, sort of in the last expansion, was introduce like zone scaling for questing. So what that technically means is you can actually zone your own narrative for your character. So, say if I was leveling a warrior now, I could start, if I was undead, for example, I'd start in Death Knell, move to Brill, do all the Tirisfal Glade stuff. I could then move to Silverpine Forest and quest through all of that. But if I wanted to start a different character, I could start leveling in completely different zones and not even touch quest lines that my other characters had.
Oh, okay.
And then with the expansions, you go through content that again scales and stuff like even in Legion, there are four leveling zones to pick from,
Mhm.
and you can do them in any order.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, it
That's
sounds
pretty cool.
kind of similar to the way I used to take on certain like single player RPGs, like the expensive sort of types, like your Skyrims and all that, where you have like your sort of like generally good guilds, and then you have like your assassins guilds and your thieves guilds, which I usually play on like an alt character who's like a bit of a bastard.
Oh no, I tend to have one superhero in Skyrim and Oblivion and Morrowind and stuff that just does all the shit.
It's a bit
It's tricky.
bipolar kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, head of the Dark Brotherhood, but also, just a general good egg. The thing I will say about Mark's approach to that, being able to equip a different weapon and change your class and have a different story. I think with WoW, the lore doesn't really support it because, my troll's a shaman. He doesn't follow the light. He doesn't have, the powers of a paladin. He doesn't have, the restorative or shadow powers of a priest. A shaman works with the elements. Summons lava spirits and lightning bolts and hits stuff with, it's a completely different set of powers. And to be able to switch, at will between that wouldn't really work in Warcraft. Especially the fact that my character is going on sort of, like 12 years old now.
I mean, some of the
Doing
parts that are pretty cool are where you have like these like job specific quests for the different classes in 14. If any of the people actually from those job quests end up creeping over into the main story, they will reference that they actually already know you.
Yeah.
From
they've
previous
introduced that more
quests
and
and
more in
things,
recent.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to get the recognition for doing the stuff. I think they've done that more and more in recent WoW expansions, because not only are you, just some guy with magical powers or whatever.
Yeah, a bit like the old, it's the hero of Kvatch.
Yeah. Whereas now, you go to these meetings for specific story quests with, the war chief or whatever, and higher ups in your faction and things, and they're like, oh, being a shaman, you get the title Farseer. And people recognize you as Farseer. The artifact weapon quest chains from Legion, you'd be walking around just the game world, and certain NPCs would just have little reactions to the fact that you're carrying this legendary weapon.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, I
Nice
did the other day because I had a frost mage ult, and I never really bothered with fire, but with the recent patch, I've moved it over to fire. I was just walking around Dalaran, which is the main city. Walked in to get some stuff from one of the blacksmithing vendors because you got some catch-up stuff and you got a free legendary basically. And the guy turns around to me and goes, "Holy shit, that sword you're holding!" And there's a nice little mini in-game scene. I was like, "Oh, that was nice," even though it's like completely powerless now because of the way the quest worked out. But
Yeah.
So I honestly think it's probably learned a few lessons from, we'll say, other popular MMOs, not to being specific, but yeah.
Well, that's it. I mean, a lot of them copy stuff from WoW, not particularly well sometimes. But it's generally the stuff they do themselves that people like and stick out. And it wouldn't surprise me if like the opposite happens. You know what I mean? They try and take a few ideas from others.
Exactly. I think the golden rule of a successful MMO is you do you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not about what makes it, you know, the same as the most successful one. It's about what it offers that's different and unique to all the other stuff. I think everything that's still, you know, viable and playable has something to offer. That's the reason it's still around.
Yeah, I do like the odd Twitter back and forth you get as well, because I remember when they did one of the patches for the 3.0 series in Final Fantasy was like Return of the Horde or Revenge of the Horde, and there was some quite amusing back and forth like between the two, like the Warcraft and Final Fantasy official accounts, sort of having playful digs at each other.
Got to love a playful dig. Yeah, I do enjoy this sort of stuff. But yeah, WoW's always going to be my favourite MMO just because I've played it for so long. So enough about that, other than I believe the second part of the War of Thorns questlines goes live this Wednesday if you're in Europe, and Tuesday if you're in the US. Other than that, I'm just looking forward to kicking a load of pink squishy bastards.
Nice.
Yeah, so on to the next and last game from me, because I picked it up the other day after umming and ahhing for a while. Parkitect on Steam. Anyone else heard of it?
No.
Cool name though.
Exactly. So it is a modern day take on Roller Coaster Tycoon. And it's, you know, like how Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 was a bit naff, and can't remember the name of the developer, went and made Planet Coaster. Same guys that made Elite. And Planet Coaster was really good, but Parkitect, the way they're making it, it's so nostalgic. It really captures the feeling of RCT 1 and 2, which are games that I spent far too much of my early teenage years playing. Like, far too much, worryingly so. Yeah, there you go, Parkitect. Some of the trailers are really good, but I mean, even the look of it, I mean, it's voxel based, so there's some nice little graphic options you can fart around with, but it's a fully functioning theme park simulator. It's only in early access at the moment. I think I picked it up for about 13, 14 quid. But it's functioning perfectly well. I think the biggest plan they've got really now, other than tweaks and a few more rides and things, is just to add scenarios and a campaign in for single player. But it looks brilliant. Scales really well. It is just taking me back to my childhood. Yeah, if anyone's got 15 quid to waste, I seriously recommend getting it while it's cheap now, because that will rocket in price when it's released. But I spent a few hours in it earlier and didn't realise it was a few hours. Really, really good fun, and highly recommend it for anyone that likes a nice little theme park management sim. And why wouldn't you?
Nice.
Very cool. Very, very cool. I was just trying to find a cool video, but there we go.
There isn't. Just check it on Steam. It's all good.
Is that it?
I am done. I haven't really played much else because you and I both know we've worked 6 12-hour shifts this week.
Yeah, and finished nights this morning, didn't we? So we're still pretty tired.
4 hours of sleep.
Lovely. Darren, what about you, mate?
I'm afraid it'll probably be pretty much a rewind last week's show and play it back. Pretty much.
Final Fantasy 14.
Nothing different. Obviously, talked about Final Fantasy, the usual bit of Fortnite, which I've been really enjoying. I will say they've had their like first year anniversary on the game. There's like a little quest line going on, and they're giving you the chance to earn the sort of like event heroes from sort of like some of the early events, Halloween, Christmas, and all of that lot, and whatnot, and just sort of like slightly tweaking the game. Still have absolutely like loads of fun with the actual proper Fortnite mode of it. But there's not really much else to say. Division, they're running another event thing currently at the moment, which will net you like classified gear, which is like the assault playlist. So I think that's running all week. So if you wanted, I think it's either Strikers, Reclaimer, or Sentry's Call, I think it is. The 3 sets that are up for grabs. Then log in and do some bits and bobs on that. Elder Scrolls, just been on and off that, sort of mucking around, doing bits and bobs on it. Speaking of the thing with the people sort of recognising stuff you've done, that game does it a lot, actually, I've noticed, where you're sort of in a city and you'll have like a town crier type sort of telling you about there's werewolves attacking in a certain area, you might want to stay away from there, and you'll go off and do the quest and you'll go back and they'll be like, oh, a strange hero turned up and killed all of the assassins and all of these type of things. I do just, like you say, love little touches like that. It just adds a bit more to the world that they're sort of trying to create, I guess.
That's fair. I mean, the graphics on there are pretty good, aren't they? But I couldn't get into it. I got it on the Xbox and was just like, oh, this is just not that.
Again,
great.
I think it's another one like a lot of the things I was speaking to, obviously Coopster, like community member, about who played it a lot. I think he had it when it first came out. He was basically saying they've made like a ton of improvements to it since when it first launched. Like it was a bit of a mess when it first came out. But yeah, like I said, it's dirt cheap. That's why I sort of grabbed it, and I've been having fun with it. It sort of like takes the place of like another sort of like proper sort of Elder Scrolls, I suppose, in a sense, although it does play completely different. I still pretty much play it as like a single player, though you just see other random players running around in the zones every now and again.
Fair.
The actual DLC that I was talking about last week, or Orsinium, I believe this week or next week it's going on sale for people that want it for a bunch of like money off or coins off or whatever it is, however they sell that game.
Cool.
Like the DLC. Oh yeah, sorry, I butted in there.
I think Trip wants to come in and say hi.
All right, go for it, mate.
Yo.
Hello,
Hello.
Mr. McNeely.
What's on?
Yeah.
What's up, dudes?
How have you been?
Excellent.
We haven't seen you forever.
Yeah, it's probably been 2015, 2016, somewhere in there.
What have you been doing with yourself?
Rearing young children, you know how it is.
Has that taken
Are
away?
they free range, organic? What?
We try to keep them organic as much as possible.
Yeah. Less
They
tough
have
that
had
way.
the odd Mickeys on a few occasions, so
Okay.
got to make sure their gut gets slightly polluted before they get too old.
Mm-hmm. So have your children made your gaming time disappear then?
Yes.
So, do you game at all anymore?
Yeah, actually, I've been playing more. I've probably played more this year than I've played in the last 2.5 years.
Wow.
Nice.
Finished Mass Effect Andromeda. Hello 2015 or whatever year that was. It wasn't that bad. It was actually a pretty good game at the end. After you put in 16 hours, after the first 16 hours sucked, the last 4 hours were pretty good.
I think that's like everyone just went into it with such low expectations, with like obviously all the slagging off it was getting when it came out. So you can only go up from there, really, can't you?
Exactly. Yes.
And all the
without a doubt.
patches that came afterwards.
Yep.
Completed Breath of the Wild.
Nice.
Finished Mario Odyssey. Playing Doom right now, 2016.
Nice.
But single player games, man, it's about all I can play. Colin wants me to play Fortnite with him every day, but that's impossible. So
That's because his kids play Fortnite, so he's got a good excuse, you see.
I know. I played a ton of Destiny 2. Heard you guys talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
But I haven't played that since probably the 4th month of launch.
Wow.
I've hated their... Yeah, that game's just a mess. I can't believe any of you are still playing it. Webby, I don't know what the fuck you're doing buying it 3 times.
Just an addiction, mate. You know what I'm like with games.
Yes, I do know what you're like, yes.
See, I'm
Year
quite
of not
lucky.
buying games.
Yeah, but I'm in a different position to you, I think. I mean, I've got, my son is 7 months old. But because I work...
I have a 7-month-old also.
Yeah,
yes,
I think
exactly.
our kids were a few days apart, weren't they?
December 7th was
Yeah,
mine was born.
So yeah, mine was the 9th. So yeah, a couple of days
Yep.
later. But I think like I'm in a different position because I work shifts. I can fit gaming in around my weird hours that I work. So if I had a normal Monday to Friday job, I think I'd be gaming a lot less.
Well, I would still game with most people every day, but Dan doesn't play at night anymore because I still get on at night.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
None of
Yeah.
you are on at night anymore.
Oh no, because we're in
We're
bed.
all old men.
Yeah.
Yes. You're all in bed by. You used to stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning, so that worked out. Now
Yeah.
I get on at 8.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
It's 2 a.m. and none of you game at night anymore.
That's it. You know,
Well,
I'm normally in bed by 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
Fucking old fuckers. Looking forward to Horizon this year, though. I hope that I find some time to play with some of you later this year.
Yeah, man. Well, you
Nice.
just need to get on, weekends. Well, that I'm not at work, I can.
Yeah, I don't game
but-
on the weekend. That's impossible.
So, yeah.
I'm a weekday at night gamer.
So, yeah, that's hours aren't going to match, are they?
No.
So.
That you just need to emigrate. There you go.
You can pay my healthcare. So what are you doing today? Are you not at work today? Is this like a weekday here?
Yeah, I'm at the office right now.
Oh, nice.
Getting paid to talk to you fine folks.
That's all good.
That's
all
why
good.
I've done it before.
But yes, we know that there. Yes.
Best not to let it go anywhere public, not like post it on the internet or anything.
Well, Darren
yeah.
doesn't have a job anymore, so.
I had nothing
So,
to do with podcasting at work.
There you go.
Well, we've missed you, Trip. You should make an effort to come on the podcast again.
If you keep recording on Mondays, that's going to be impossible.
Well,
If you record on a weekend at some point, yes,
we usually do Sundays, but we're doing a Monday this week because I've been on night shifts all weekend, so I finished this morning. So today's really the only good day.
Yeah. Schedule something up with Dan and let me know ahead of time, and yeah, I can make it work. Without a doubt.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
Getting the gang back together.
Yeah.
I do like the changes you've been making. Your guest hosts have been very good, and
cool.
your new additions to the hosting format's been going good, man. It all sounds good.
Awesome. Cheers.
Everybody doesn't sound depressed as fuck to be talking to each other anymore.
It's easy. I just drink like 4 cans of Monster before a podcast, and it just makes me hyper enough to get through the nihilism.
All right, well, I'll let you guys get back to it.
Cheers,
Have a
Trip.
good one.
Yeah,
That's
it's
good to
gonna
talk
wear
to you,
off in a
man.
minute.
Take it easy, mate.
Take care, mate.
Later, guys.
Right.
So, where were we, Darren? I forgot what we were talking about.
I'd pretty much finished what I was
Oh no,
roughly going to talk
Elder
about anyway.
Scrolls
to be honest.
Online. So, do you recommend this for noobs, or is this quite a hardcore RPG? Online RPG, MMO RPG.
It is complete. Well, I wouldn't say it's completely different to like the other Elder Scrolls games, but like a lot of it is down to sort of like crafting and creating your own stuff rather than going out and finding it in the world, because
right,
everything levels up with you in game. That's like the resources you gather, the chests you open,
Okay.
the loot you find on enemies and everything. So, but it's like I said, I bought it for a nice little bit of just a time sink, basically, just to tide me over till more stuff comes out. Because we
Yeah.
have been in like quite a nice lull period, haven't we, for the last 3 or 4 months? And it's just sometimes nice in the evening if I stick the computer on, I might sort of like whack it on and just think to myself, I want to stick something on where I can just turn my brain off. I don't have to think too much, and I can just wander off and explore, have a bit of fun.
That's fair.
Yeah, I've got it. See, I've got it on PC through probably Humble Bundle. I've never actually like logged in. I've just installed it like yesterday, I think. So I was planning.
I know I've talked about it a fair bit, but the music in the
Yeah.
game's like great. As
Yeah,
per
I think
usual.
I'll probably give it a nice bosh and give you an opinion at some point. Maybe not next week. Maybe the week after.
Yeah. Okay. Cheers, Darren. So Paul, we've left you to
Yes, mate.
last.
The worst will last.
Let the guest the last.
That's it.
Yeah, so I'm pretty much more of an old school player than you guys. Obviously, I don't play that much online. with having 2 kids who are older than your baby yet. You've got this all to come, mate. You wait until he starts walking and talking, and that's going to be it. So I've just been playing a few of the older games on the Xbox One. As I said earlier, Batman Return to Arkham.
Oh, nice.
The remake. Yeah, the remake of the original. Still.
Asylum. Or was it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Do you want a weird something weird I've noticed the other day? I picked up Batman Arkham Knight the day it came out. I still haven't taken it out of my shrink wrap.
It's quite a good game.
Yeah, I know. I was just literally going through my shelf like a little while back and thinking, oh wow, like I completely forgot I had that. So I quickly went and put in the DLC code for it for some sort of Harley Quinn thing or whatever you got for getting it when it came out.
You should definitely fire that one. It's not bad. It looks really nice. It looks a really good game, that one.
So is this the original Arkham Asylum for the 360 and it's just on backwards compatible, or is it actually?
Yeah, it's just gone. No, it's the remaster. They put them together and called them Return to Arkham.
Oh, okay.
So surprised it even needed remastering.
Yeah, exactly. It looks nicer still though. It's just still. It's very dark and grainy, which Batman should be, but it does it so well on the Xbox One.
Wow.
The villains in it, the story's really good, and it's one of my favorite games. So to replay it again was really, really good. Really nice little game. You put it out in about 10, 12 hours. All the little Riddler missions and bits and pieces in it. The way everything comes over the radio, the sound in it, the Killer Croc bits, very good. Nice little game, really, really good. And also in that.
No, sorry, I'll carry on after you finish.
That's right, mate. That's cool. You go. No, you go, mate.
I was going to say it's also one of the games that basically kick-started one of the trends of the last gen, the combat system.
Yeah.
That's been copied so much because it was so good. Along with the Gears cover system and Horde mode and such.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that because I just played through Mad Max, which was the same fighting system. I was enjoying doing it. And then went straight into Batman, but no, good game, very good game.
Yeah,
Mad
it was Arkham and sorry.
No, carry on. Sorry, I was just
going to say like that combat system was basically part Arkham Asylum and part Assassin's Creed, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. But you were saying about Mad Max. Yeah, I played through that. Literally nearly got all the achievements on it, and that is a hidden gem. That is not enough people have picked up that game.
I think Peach has played for it recently, actually, because it was free on PS Plus, I believe, like a few months ago.
Bugger.
Yeah, it's really good. Really good. Once you start, it's one of those games. Get past the first 3 or 4 hours, get yourself your car, decently done. Nice little game that is really, really good. And against the fighting system's brilliant because it's just that kind of YX easiness, which makes it quite enjoyable, to be honest. Another game I've played, which is an old game again, single player again, Quantum Break.
Oh, nice! I love that game.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? It looks good. It looks really nice. Dare I say it, one of the best looking single player games I've played on the Xbox One. Even the actors look pretty good in it and stuff like that. But yeah, really enjoying that. About halfway through it. Nice little story. Managed to get it at a car boot for $5, so steal.
Nice. So when you get it on disc, do you still have to download all the videos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
50 odd gig, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's like 78 gig.
Oh my god! Why can't they data compress on the Xbox? What is wrong with them? Like, I don't get it. Like, why games on the Xbox are like twice the size?
You can choose not to download the videos and they just stream.
True. Yeah, true.
But obviously, you're not going to get the decent quality, are you? Unless you download.
No, I've downloaded. How many is it? Do you know how many it is, Webby? How many episodes?
Oh, God, mate, it's been years since I've played it.
Isn't it like one between each level or something?
Yeah, I think it looks like it's probably about that. But I'll probably watch it because I think it works quite well. I'm not I've not watched all the episodes yet, but I will do.
I think the reason it's 70 odd gig is they probably added it's probably been bolstered by the fact that it did have a 1x update.
Yeah.
But really good little game. You can get that dirt cheap now. Anyone that's not played that, definitely. That's a nice little game.
What do you think of the looks of the new one? Sorry, before we move on.
Which new one? Sorry.
It super interested. Like Remedy's next one, it was demoed at or shown off briefly at the PlayStation E3 this year, wasn't it? Looked very similar thing. It was like a woman
Yeah, well,
doing all
what's
these
it
sort of
called? I
time
can't
and
remember.
warping stuff. I can't remember what on earth it was called. Was it called Fracture or something like that? Or am I way
Yes.
off?
Yeah. No. Oh, there was something like that with a woman. I remember seeing that on the PS. Something with a woman on it from Remedy.
Hang on.
But yeah, I've generally liked all of Remedy's games, like Alan Wake, etc.
But
And
they do just need to do Alan Wake 2.
Yeah, it's
It
called
just
Control.
Oh, Control, yeah.
oh,
That's
right,
right,
fair enough. Yeah, I was way off. Don't know where the fracture came from, but there you go.
We won't tell anyone. It's fine. No one will ever know.
But yeah, so yes, really enjoyed that game. Another game I downloaded and had a little look at again for nostalgia reasons. EA put Dante's Inferno on EA Access.
Fucking awesome
And
game.
school,
that is
man.
that's a brilliant game. I mean, you can keep your Castlevanias. It's Webby. Dante's
Whoa,
Inferno
fuck
was the.
off.
You can keep your Devil May Cry. I think Dante's Inferno was brilliant.
Oh, yeah,
really
probably
good.
my best. It's my favourite God of War clone.
Yeah, yeah, I
That
think I'm
was
definitely up there with
really a
that.
clone. It just ripped off the sort of combat style and everything to it, but I fucking loved it.
Yeah, the way it goes in the
Bar-
Seven
bar
Sins
the-
and all that.
Yeah, bar the stupid platformy bits between the different levels where you're going up and dodging, swinging things that knock you off.
Yes,
and
yeah.
whatnot.
But I
That
mean,
was just more annoying, but
when you're beating up Medusa with her boobies hanging out and all stuff like that, it's still
and the kids crawling
Good.
out of her nipples like the
yeah, really weird stuff. Good weapons and stuff in it. Very good game. As I said, of that kind of genre and at that time, still good. But if you download it now, it still looks nice now. Really, really good.
Was that pre-Dead Space? Was it the game they did before Dead Space or just after?
I'm gonna say
Oh, I'm
before.
not
I think.
sure.
I'm gonna say before. I think.
I just
I've
found
no
it
idea.
weird. It had some weird enemies. I just remember the attacking vaginas.
So the creature design, and
So
I think
weird.
at least in a large part of that game, was done by a fella called Wayne Barlow. Wayne Barlow is also quite well known for a book he wrote called Expedition. And you can look up Wayne Barlow, concept art on Google, and it'll throw you some really interesting stuff. He's always just been a really imaginative sort of part way between a horror genre and sort of alien and
Clive
biomechanical
Barker
type stuff.
kind of thing.
Kind of Clive Barker-y, Geiger-y sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Expedition was particularly cool because they made a small, terrible documentary out of it called Alien Planet. I don't know if anyone remembers that.
No.
No.
So it was like a theorized, silly little bit of sciencey fun where they thought this is how an expedition to an alien planet supporting life would actually go in, a couple of 100 years' time, which is based on this book called Expedition.
Okay.
But Expedition's nice because it's written from the perspective of an explorer, and it's got some really interesting art in it. I like that that style. I can't really tell you what sort of style it is because I'm not that well versed, but you see what I mean. It's like that kind of 50s, 60s retro sci-fi kind of color palette almost.
Yeah.
I'll take it this was the backwards compatible that you went to because like Dante's because I noticed it was announced that it was backwards compatible. The other
Yeah,
day.
it went back and then it went straight into the EA Vault. So
Right.
yeah, it was easy, just an easy little download. But yeah, have another look at it. It's aged quite well actually for that. It's aged pretty good.
One of the most bizarre interpretations of Cerberus I've ever seen. That's all I'm gonna say.
Fair.
Oh,
Cool.
that guy also did some of the concept artwork for James Cameron's Avatar movie. So a lot of the jungle
weird.
creatures you had in that, because of his work with sort of alien biome type stuff. It's worth having a look
Nice.
because
It's
the
a nice
guy's
style.
just really good.
Cool.
Cool. Also, I had a little keep going back to it, and this is going to be controversial. Webby's not going to like this. Assassin's Creed Origins as well,
Okay.
which
Love it.
I've played it. It's very good, but I don't like it as much as the originals. I don't like. I don't know why. I've been a single player. I like, just from A to B, nice graphics, good story. And it's very big and open. It reminds me more of Far Cry, which is no bad thing, but I think it's lost its identity a little bit.
I mean, have you played like Black Flag and
Yeah, played Black Flag. Brilliant game. Really
That's-
enjoyed it, but I just thought
bigger.
Origins. For me at the moment, Origins just feels it's just too open. If you know what, like, I think I do prefer the Ezio collection. I played those ones, and the way that it was story folded, I really enjoyed that, because I think Assassin's Creed, what is good about it is the way it tells you about history, and
Yeah.
it's like a book nearly sometimes. For some of it is some of those kind of, but Origins, I don't know if it's just 'cause I've just played Far Cry 5, whether or not going into that I was like, this feels very similar.
Yeah, I mean, there is that trend probably since Witcher 3 was so successful for just massive worlds full of interesting things to just go and have a look at, basically. And no one's really quite done it that well since.
Yeah, it does look good. It is a good game, but I just feel that it's just lost it a little bit. And I can't seem to get like lots and lots of hours into it. I just seem to put it for a quick hour and then do a few missions, and then go on to something else. But it does look good.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's funny, really, because like with Assassin's Creed, I wasn't really a fan of the earlier one, so I never really got on well with the Ezio stuff. First one I actually played properly was 3, which was okay, not one of the best ones, but it led me quite nicely into Black Flag, which is where I've started enjoying them all since, barring Unity and Rogue. But Syndicate I really enjoyed. I think Origins is fantastic.
Syndicate was really good. I really enjoyed Syndicate. Yeah, that was good.
It's odd because again, it's not one of the best ones that's been reviewed, but it's just it's got a charm to it, hasn't it?
It's the setting.
Awesome.
It was the setting. Yeah.
And the game breaking grappling hook.
See, I think Origins is a good game, but I'm in a weird place of it. I've had it since launch, but I haven't finished it. I can never. I just feel like it's not got a grip on me like the other Assassin's Creed have. Like, normally I play an Assassin's Creed game and that's like the only game I will play until I've finished it. Whereas with this, I've been distracted away from it very easily.
Yeah, would you say it's due to the open world nature, where you sort of everything's so open, it's almost like you've got that thought of, where do I go now? What do I look for?
You know what?
Rather than just having a focused goal and it's just a couple of streets down the road kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't have that problem. What I think it might be down to, and now forgive me if I'm wrong about this, but I bought it on release and I can't remember if anything else good was coming out around that time. Whereas you're slightly late to the party, and that means there's a hell of a lot that's now there to catch up on. So it probably stood out really well on its own at the time, but now there's a lot of other stuff that's just sort of, in your pile that's more
that was what I said, because I played I had it, but I didn't play it. I played Far Cry 5 first, and then played it. And as Webby said, normally Assassin's Creed I can't put it down. I have to do everything in it, and I love the story. But this one I'm afraid I put it down after an hour. I'm afraid.
Fair enough.
But yeah,
I didn't like it slow to ramp up, but when it did ramp up, oh boy, it ramped up. It really accelerates towards the end. Unfortunately, Origins, there's a bit of gap in the beginning, which is just not particularly ideal.
Have you finished it, Webby and Tendency? Have you guys finished it?
No, I'm still sort of like part way through it. I've yet to go back to it, kind of thing. But the closer we get to Odyssey, I'll probably end up sort of like being pushed a little bit more to go back and finish it off.
It is worth doing, I think. The DLC is really good as well, because obviously Origins is designed to be the start of the Brotherhood and everything. The first DLC, I haven't played the second one, to be fair. I'll probably see if that's on sale soon. But the first DLC is just after it's been founded, so
the only things I've never particularly liked in Syndicate, they brought out the missions where you're chasing people on the horse and carrying on the horse and chariot, and it just controls like shit.
That was a pain in the ass.
Then there was like the Colosseum races that I had one handle at in fucking like one little go at in Odyssey, and I was like, this is fucking AIDS. Like, I don't want to do this.
You know what? I didn't bother with the chariot races.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I don't really like racing stuff anyway. The Forza Horizon is a pure exception for me. But I agree with you there. It does control like arse. Your standard horse for getting around.
You get a tutorial for it, doesn't it? And it's got all the old horse racing things of like, you can charge ahead here, but then you got to get stamina and you got to balance yourself, and Just like,
Yeah.
I just want to fucking race.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
they
like,
added
I've
Chocobo
never played a
racing.
video game before, not at
Mm.
all. Fucking hell.
They added Chocobo racing to Final Fantasy 14, and they fucked that up. So they could have made like a fun little Mario Kart style thing with it, like a nice arcadey racer thing. But no, they just went full like stamina management, and it felt on rails and stuff. So what are you doing?
What?
Cool. And the last little game, I always like to have I've got my 360 in the kitchen because when my
In the kitchen?
when the fiance's in the front room watching Love Island at the moment, which is the final tonight, thank God. I hide in the kitchen with my headset on, and I've got 360 out there, and I've been playing Alice Madness Returns.
Oh,
Which
nice.
is-
Loads of people love that. I've
What a
never
great little
played it.
game.
But I
You've
did
not
pick
played
up.
it?
I've got it on PS3. I picked it up for like $5 like years ago, like when
Yeah.
people were ranting about it.
I remember
But
playing
it's
the
just the
first one.
fact that it's a platform game. Like I'm
Yeah,
not
the
a platform fan.
The first one's with it as well. I've not played that one yet, but once again, art style wise, that kind of like, you know, it's not Tim Burton, but at the time Tim Burton looked to it and stuff like that. Brilliant.
It's
You know,
creepy
really,
as fuck, basically.
it is really creepy. It's just creepy as you
left
like.
open as well for like another one.
Yes. So there was. I've read a little bit like that.
They sold pretty well. So
Yeah. So it was EA. It was EA, wasn't it? Yes, it was.
American
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
wasn't
EA,
it,
yeah.
who made it.
But yeah, very good, nice little game to play on. 360 for me still got a little bit of life in it. And then last but not least, just now and again, a little bit of Halo, Master Chief Collection. Just a little bit of multiplayer now and again when I feel like shooting something. That's my game that I will go to now and again. I still love it. It's polished now. It does its thing now. The best thing they can do is give it free on gold, and it will just take off again, I think.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised they haven't done that yet.
Yeah, it's a good way to revitalise the multiplayer. But have they given away the Halo collection? I presume they're probably trying to stay off giving away certain games. Like I'd imagine things like the Halo collection and Gears and stuff to never really end up on games with gold anymore, because they're trying to push people into getting this Game Pass.
Yes, on the Game Pass.
They're going to be the games that are on the Game Pass.
Yeah, I mean it's still good. I've got the ODST download, which I'm trying to go through on single player now again. But it is really nice now. It works properly. The menus we can get into, like back in the day. To talk about this game, getting into multiplayer was a bitch. Now it's really really easy, and you get full games on there all the time. But yeah, it's a good little game still to pick up and play for just not thinking, just shooting.
Yeah,
which is nice.
The Halo series is probably one of the best shooters ever made, and I still play the Master Chief Collection every now and again. I just think the campaigns are still absolutely great even today, especially the remastered ones. They just look absolutely phenomenal, and the multiplayer again, it works really really well, and that's where I think modern multiplayer games have lost their way. Like the Halo multiplayer games,
simple is sometimes good. Yeah,
it's just fun. Then there was none of this unlocking extra weapons and all this sort of shit. It was literally like they're all laying on the map, go and fucking pick them up and have fun. Drive some warthogs around, plant some bombs or whatever. And, those was like playing Halo Online are some of my fondest memories of playing games online.
Yeah, but once people started dangling the carrots in people's faces for stuff like it started pretty much in like COD 4, like Modern Warfare. You can't really go back to the old days now. People will always be like, "Oh, why am I playing this? I'm not unlocking anything." I don't know, because it's a fun game. Maybe that's why you play it. But
that's the thing. It's that need for
kids
validation.
don't want
isn't it?
that anymore.
They want to spend 5
want
minutes in something and be given things because
they want the old bam like crank up noises and all these other unlock things and stuff that you get when you're playing and whatnot. I mean, it's nice to unlock things in games and have like a long goal to work towards something, but it has sort of like kind of spoiled just to pick up and play multiplayer games where everything's like balanced out of the gate.
Yep.
Definitely.
And that's why Halo was perfect.
It still is. If obviously we talked about gaming nights before on Halo, but when we used to do it when it first came out, there was some great nights. That's where I first had a few gaming issues, with the community.
Yeah.
And they were brilliant. Peebs used to get on. It was brilliant. We had some great laughs on them. but yeah, still a very good game. It's still got a bit of community on it. Anyone's still got it, yeah, should load it up. It's still pretty good.
Awesome. I might load it up then.
The classics always have like communities on them. There's probably still a ton of people playing all sorts of shooters from years ago.
I was just wondering if there's still an active community for the first Unreal tournament.
Probably.
Because what a game that was. I need to revisit that.
It's all gone quiet on the new one, hasn't it? There's a lot of people saying that the people working on it have been taken off it for the moment to work on Fortnite because it's earning them so much. I think something I read the other day, some article or somewhere online, is they apparently make around $2 million a day off the mobile games.
Really?
I think it's
transactions alone.
But that's still a lot of fucking money.
Oh yeah, fucking ridiculous. Right.
Wow. That's insane.
Talk about old games and communities, though. I mean, once again, I'm on that 360, and I just put in BioShock 2, and I was just playing BioShock 2, and thinking, I wonder if this has got anyone in there. Went straight into a game, and I was like, I can't believe someone is still playing this now. I went straight into a game.
It was stunty and rubbish.
It was, it was amazing. Some games still have the communities there, and you know whether or not people go them for nostalgia or just get away from what you were saying earlier about the intenseness of everything thrown at you from loot boxes to everything.
Yeah.
Just have a quiet, easy little game.
Yeah. I will still say the presentation for BioShock 2's multiplayer is one of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I still love it. You start off in your apartment, you go, and you change your outfit stuff, and you can change all your loadouts, and then you like listen to recordings and stuff you get from leveling up. You look out the window, and you got all the fish and rapture about, and then you go off to the bathyspheres to load into the levels and everything. I thought that was really, really clever.
It was done. It's good. I mean, what they're going to do BioShock next, I'm hoping to hear this year. Thought we were going to get something at E3, but what a franchise! Brilliant franchise.
Oh, yeah, amazing.
I'll take it.
I'm more excited about the System Shock stuff that's coming up.
Yeah, isn't that what's Ken Levine doing? Because his studio's working on something, and he said before E3, didn't he, that we haven't got anything to show you this year, I'm afraid. So don't.
Yeah, I think that was the System Shock, either System Shock 3 or a remaster. I can't remember what they were doing. I'll have to read up on this and get back to you all. But they were making a remaster of System Shock, and it turned out to be they just wanted to actually develop it into System Shock 3. And I always preferred like those games to BioShock because obviously spiritual successors and stuff. I like the sci-fi setting more, and I still think Shodan is one of the best game villains of all time.
Fair. I've never played it, so wouldn't know.
It's not age. The first one's definitely not age well. Second one still playable. Cool. There's a community project to update the textures and stuff and make it run, runnable on modern systems. So you can achieve it, and it's worth playing through just because fucking Shodan will give you nightmares.
Fair. Cool.
Unlike the final bosses of the original BioShock and Infinite for the wrong reasons.
So, anything else from you, Paul? Any other games?
No, that's the lot really. That's it. That's it. Pretty single
nice,
player.
Interesting spread of good old quality games there.
Yeah, I once again the MMO side of it. So I watch the videos and I really enjoy it. And why I like listening to you guys is I sometimes feel I play those games because I listen to you guys talking about them. And that's really good. I do wish I could play them, but with a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old at the moment, single player games is where I'm at, and then see what happens in the future.
Yeah. I mean, the best thing about the single player game for that, when you've got kids and stuff, it's like, oh, little Johnny's just knocked himself. Hold on a sec, start, save, done, and you're off. You know what I mean? Not like, I'm not at a checkpoint yet. I need to get back to the base to save it and all this.
Exactly. And that's one of the best things about the Xbox One. You don't even have to save it now. You just switch the console off and go back in there and it's there. It pops up wherever you're up to. So
apart from if you're in an always online, in which case you'll log back in and have loads of people teabagging you or something.
I've had that done a few times.
I had it to me on Final Fantasy. Someone called me away. And I'd basically left my character standing after just killing a mob. And I basically came back and there was a mob stood over my unconscious body. Every time I go into the zone, I fucking beat the shit out of that tosser because I know the exact mob that it was as well and where he spawns. I'll have him every time I'm in that zone. Like about 6 months later, it's like, where are you? I still remember what you did to me, you bastard.
With Halo, the Halo teabagging was legendary, I think.
Oh yeah, you can't be a bit of Halo teabagging.
You can't. Not on Hang 'em High, you can't beat it, pal. Cool, that's it though. That's it from me. Thank you.
Awesome. I just want to mention a bit of news that someone put in the chat about EA Access or Origin Access as it is on the PC.
Origin Premium Access.
Yeah, so it's called Origin Premium Access. So this is going to be £15 a month or £90 for the year. So what this gets you is all the new games, by the looks of it.
Oh, so they're doing an actual going for a Game Pass kind of thing.
They've done a Game Pass for a while. There's been Origin Access. I can't remember when it started now, but it's been around for since time immemorial.
Oh, Origin, sorry, that Origin's Ubisoft, isn't it?
No,
it's EA.
Oh, it is
So
EA.
you've had EA Access for a while, and what they're doing now is Premium Access, because what you've had is like the newest games have been like just like 10-hour trials, but you're being able to pay for Premium Access, which is, as Mark said, 15 a month, 90 quid for the year, and you get access to these new games without the time barrier. So, you'll be able to play Anthem when it comes out just as the full game. Whereas if you were just paying for the £3 or whatever, it will just be 10 hours of it. So nice if that's your thing.
So that's obviously everything in the vault as well. Obviously,
That's literally everything.
Oh, that's not bad then, is it?
It's pretty decent, but I think I've got so little interest in EA.
I think it's a really good deal for like those Americans that love all their sports games.
Yeah.
Because obviously you usually get, if you're going to buy, say, like the NBA or the NHL game that year, it's literally going to be cheaper than buying both of them separately, isn't it? You just play that and you get them both, and anything else that might come out.
Yeah. Whereas me, I mean, I was looking at the list and I was just like, Anthem really is the only thing I care about, so I'll just buy that.
I'm one of these people. I bought an EA game since the vaults happened to me. I will quite happily wait 9 months and wait for it to go in the vault and play it for free.
Anthem's a funny one because after the initial explosion of excitement when it was revealed at E3 last year, not obviously this year, everyone nowadays is more cautiously, almost like just walking up to the bath and just dipping their toe in it a little bit to see what it's like.
Since
Andromeda almost feels like the expectation that they have.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like since Andromeda has happened, let's just put it that way, because
looks a bit like a Mass Effect Destiny to me.
It does, but I've seen a fair bit of the gameplay trailers and stuff, and I like the idea of zooming around in a mech suit. To be honest, it's made by BioWare, who make decent games. So
yes, that's true.
Let's just hope that the publisher doesn't screw them over, because as far as I'm concerned, one of the things that screwed over Destiny 2 players the most has been the Eververse, and I believe that was like fucking Blizzard and Activision's idea to shove that crap in there.
Fair.
Which is quite funny when you're one of the, literally probably the biggest software publisher or most renowned going, with like COD and Overwatch and World of Warcraft and stuff, but yet you still want to grab people by the ankles and shake all the money out of their pockets every opportunity.
Yeah. The thing is, the dreamer in me wants to believe that's Activision, but and not Blizzard, because Blizzard can do no wrong, right? But the cynic is going, oh, for fuck's sake.
Okay, so we're going to some questions.
Go on then.
So Clarky79's put a question into the Discord chat. Don't forget, people, when we record, usually Sundays, sometimes Mondays, I do put out when we're going to record. That will be, you can join our Discord group and listen live in the recording chat. You can unmute your mic when it's question time and ask us questions, or you can type in the questions if you're a little bit shy. So, Clarky79 has a question. For the question section, what are your opinions on the leaked rumour about Microsoft preparing a selection of hardware in 2020, which might include a new standalone Xbox and maybe a new streaming platform codenamed Scarlet?
I thought this was the rumour for their next console, that there was going to be like 2 SKUs. There was going to be like the standard console version and then just like a streaming box version of it, which would be a lot cheaper for people who aren't really too fussed about having a proper console.
We haven't
sort of
discussed
thing.
this, have we, at all?
No.
So,
It was end of last week, or was it early last week
I'm
that
not sure.
one of the guys put something out?
I mean, I don't really know. I haven't really kept abreast of all the news. So that's what's happening, is it? So that's the rumor. There's this.
I believe, yeah.
Codename
But
Sky.
they have said there's going to be new hardware, but a lot of me has also heard rumours that they're bringing a keyboard and mouse out for the Xbox One, so it could possibly be that.
Well, I mean,
I've heard the rumor that the disk drive's going to go, and with an Xbox One X or whatever it is, and then without no disk drive, just literally the box where you stream everything down or download it.
Yeah, I was going to say if either Sony or Microsoft release a diskless console, it can fuck itself. In my opinion, I'm not interested.
Yeah, I suppose if you like your physical stuff, then fair. That's going to be a real game changer, isn't it?
Yeah,
there's a lot of people out there that still like physical. They want to feel like they've actually paid money for something. I'm sorry, but
do you think they'll bring
you're paying for
both
thin
out
air if you're buying digital.
What are you saying?
Do you think they bring both a disc and a stream version as well?
Yeah, you couldn't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the rumors are for the next gen, but I have heard that they're also announcing some hardware at Gamescom, which I think's next month, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll probably be whether that is like a diskless Xbox One X kind of thing for things. I mean, it's good for them to. Like Microsoft, in my opinion, like I was having this conversation with a friend the other day, they're looking way ahead into the future for gaming and trying to set the foundations down now by basically having no exclusives or any reason for people to really buy their platform and leaving Sony and Nintendo to basically like pull in all the customers because they've got all the exclusives and such not. But eventually, yeah, those are going to go, the systems with the like the games on physical media, etc., and then it will go into a streaming kind of service, and obviously by that point Microsoft will be well set up in that.
Do you know
they're basically trying to get that up and running super
early. Do you mean
early.
streaming or do you mean digital content?
Well, the streaming thing, because like eventually you'll just like in the future you'll just turn on your telly and probably do everything by that. But if they set up their own version of like say a Steam, which is kind of what they've done on Microsoft systems with their Game Pass.
Yeah, I mean it's the Xbox Store, that kind of thing. I think you're right, but it's still a while.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. They're looking way ahead.
Decade.
They're looking way ahead. Like I think, like a good sort of like 6 to 8 years ahead.
I think it's even
more.
I think it's more than that. I mean, you look at how much on live flopped. Internet speeds haven't really progressed much since then.
No, they haven't. The biggest limiter in stuff like that is latency for people that are the clients rather than the servers.
I mean, I still have
gaming. I mean,
issues,
graphical cloud computing, especially with stuff like NVIDIA Grid, has come on leaps and bounds. The problem is in the client, and even if like, I mean, here's used like PS4 remote.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's okay, and that's it. It doesn't. It's not crap. It's all right.
Yeah.
But the quality's just not there yet because you haven't got. You're relying on something that's basically filtering down unacknowledged, UDP traffic at you, and you're losing stuff because of how the internet works.
And there'll be more traffic as well. There'll be more traffic if everyone's doing it. I mean, I'm down in Cornwall.
Well, yeah, not just that, and the power you're going to like the size of the games will be increasing, and obviously everything else with it. I mean, if they start getting the guidelines down, I mean, one of my issues with technology to a certain degree that nowadays, and I know certain other hosts have agreed with me before on this, is certain companies will bring out really good ideas. And like functions for certain electronics and whatnot, and then they don't actually work properly the way they're supposed to work, and then they'll fuck off and start doing newer shit, and it's like, hold on a minute, you haven't even got the old shit to work properly yet. Like, if you concentrate on getting that kind of stuff to work, and then slowly move forward with everything, rather than trying to push the boat out too far before you realise you haven't put the anchor in.
Yeah, I can't agree with you there.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, I think Microsoft is playing the long game, just the far off long game when it comes to their sort of
I think what they've realised
thing.
And I agree with you. I think what they've realised is that they're going to have to play the long game because of how the gaming market is for them in PC, and I think they've learnt a lot of lessons from the fact that Windows has cornered the gaming OS market in PC gaming. And
So
they're looking at the tech that's upcoming for that, and they're just trying to.
We've already had Ubisoft, haven't we? The head of Ubisoft saying that the next generation of consoles will be the last one for physical media.
they've
But
said
then
that
again,
before.
these are the companies that basically went console gaming's dead at the end of like the 360 PS3 era,
Well,
and then they pretty much via that forced everyone to release their machines a bit too early.
Well, they said that this gen was going to be the last gen of physical media.
Well, but there was a lot of analysts, weren't there, that were basically expecting the sales of consoles and stuff to really start going down, and then as soon as they came out, like the PS4 shot through the fucking roof.
Yeah.
And the Xbox One's sales were still like much better than the 360s were when that launched.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so we're going a bit off topic. So we're talking about Xbox.
Oh, sorry.
So about the new Xbox, right? So,
we've kind of gone into a different question, to be fair. There. So, yeah.
So I think it's strange that this is the rumor that Microsoft's going to bring next gen. They're going to bring out 2 consoles. One's going to be like a set-top streaming box, which will probably be like £20, I imagine, because it'll just be.
I don't think it'll be that cheap, mate. I just imagine it'll be like say £100 instead of like say 250 or 300.
Okay, well, whatever. If it's
standard.
streaming the games to you, so it's going to be like an on-live service, right? Well, that's going to be so fucking shit. So why would you want that anyway? And then the next one will be like a proper console, which I imagine will be very expensive. But 2020, I still feel like that's too early. I really do.
You'd think that, but there's already people now. I mean, look at how a lot of people watch TV and film and stuff. It's all streaming on Netflix or whatnot.
No, but what I'm saying, I think 2020 is too early for a new console. But again, going back to the streaming thing, game streaming will not be decent or work well for a long fucking time.
No.
Guaranteed.
I was going to say, even standard games now, like I've been disconnected from servers fucking loads on like different games randomly,
really
or can't sign in properly on consoles.
It's not that. It's the fact that you're having stuff computed, in the cloud and then piped
Sent
out.
to you. Yeah.
And the speed,
and
the
problem
speed
with
you're
that,
going to need to get those data packets going back and forth.
Yeah, because what you have is basically, I mean, a multiple of the amount of traffic. Instead of at the moment with, like, say I'm playing World of Warcraft on my PC. So my character's there, the client will tell the server that my character's there, the server will reply with, okay, well, this is over there, and, that's your HP or whatever. If you're streaming, that's all happening over there. So what you've got is your input going to the server, streaming coming back to your client, going back to the server, and it's just there's so much more traffic to take care of.
And especially with
because it's UDP rather than TCP, it's just
you're
getting packet loss. Your quality's going to drop because you're just watching Netflix, but you got a controller basically.
So yeah, it's going to suck. So yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to move on to the next question, which is on Twitch, from Strokey McGinger. He says, favorite retro.
Nice name.
Yeah, favorite retro console, favorite last gen console, and favorite current gen console. Go.
Okay. Sorry. Retro last gen, current gen, was it?
Yeah.
Retro SNES. It's got all the best RPGs. Last gen, PS3. Current gen, PS4.
Yeah, I'll go for Neo Geo as my retro choice. 360 for last gen and PS4 for this gen.
Yeah, SNES. I think that's the retro one, definitely. Good memories there. Last gen, PS2.
That's not last gen.
Sorry, Xbox 360. Do we call the PS2 retro now? Then do we?
Yeah.
No.
I would. I'd class that as retro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going back. So I'm like a PS2.
Going back about 15 years.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
God, that's old now, isn't it? No, I'm going to PS2 then.
Myself, excuse me.
And current Xbox One, definitely, without a shadow of a doubt.
Okay, I'm going to go PlayStation 1, Xbox 360, Xbox One. Done.
Filth.
Even though PS4 does have better exclusives, I still preferred the Xbox One. For friends. Friends.
Flip flop. Anyway.
Okay. Jaminia? I don't know. How the fuck do you pronounce that? Jamina?
Jamelia?
Jaminia?
Steve.
Yeah.
Ryan.
Let's do that. Okay, Ryan. Rank games you are most looking forward to for the rest of 2018?
Well, Horizon 4, New Assassin's Creed,
Spider-Man.
Battle for Azeroth.
Red Dead Redemption 2?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Do you know what?
I'm sure everyone keeps forgetting about that game, and then it's like,
Exactly.
oh, yeah.
It's
Just
soon,
not
isn't
on
it?
the hype train. It looks
A couple of months away, isn't it?
Early September, I think it was.
I thought it was October, somewhere
one
around
of
the
those.
10th of October. Rockstar usually release stuff around my brother's birthday, and my brother's birthday is the end of October. So, because I remember him getting Vice City for his birthday one year.
I mean, if that's good this year, which I think it's going to be, it's going to clean up a lot. Just clean up, I think, this shit. End of the year, I think. Anything coming out this year is going to because it's going to be good, and it's going to be good.
I'm optimistically sort of cautious, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't a massive lover of the whole GTA. Don't get me wrong, I do like the GTA Online part of it, but I don't play it with other people because you just end up with a bunch of dickheads in with you half the time.
gaming online, isn't it?
Yeah, so I just used to play it offline, and I've got a feeling like, as we forgot to mention last week, they released the new update, didn't they, for GTA Online, which like brings back one of the characters from GTA 4, like Gay Tony.
Oh, really?
In
Nice.
it, yeah, where
Yes,
you're
yeah.
basically running a nightclub, and it's all sort of story content again, but it's all sort of tied into the online aspect. So it's like all of the DLC they've done for that is basically been woven into the online completely, like almost as like an online sort of story-based thing. And it's going to be weird to see how they go with those games going forward, whether they do go with this sort of always online connected kind of game rather than like the traditional single player GTAs that you remember. Obviously, they couldn't have done it with the last one because of the whole narrative of the three characters that you swap between. But I'm just thinking about going forward. And with this Red Dead Online, I think they're going to be doing pretty much a similar thing. And as much as I like
They did it well last time. They did it well
Yeah.
last time, didn't they? With the story Red Dead and the multiplayer Red Dead, they did it really well.
They did feel completely different, and I did like
Yeah.
all, like you said, the little challenges and stuff you had in Red Dead that were separate. They gave you XP boosts and all these different bits and bobs. But yeah, I think they're going to try and sort of do a weird hybrid of the two, and I'm not really a massive fan of that because, like I say, if you generally go online with other random idiots, they'll just run around blowing you up or killing people. I was in a chat actually with someone the other day on PS4, and he was playing this new DLC, and he was like, how is it? And it's like, yeah, it's all right, mate. I've just stolen this armoured vehicle that I'm taking back to get enough money to open the nightclub and stuff. I'm almost back. And he's like, hold on a minute. There's another fucking player. He's behind me in a plane. And I just said, don't be you fucking arsehole. And he's like, it's just taken me 1.5 fucking hours. Fuck it. I'm off like that. And he just went offline. And I just went,
Too weird.
this is why I play offline or in private games, because you just get that kind of thing. We'll see, but yeah, I'm no doubt it's going to be a fantastic game. But knowing myself, I will find things that will piss me off with it more than likely.
It's only human.
Right.
Controversy. I'm looking forward to We Happy Few.
Oh, really?
That's my
That's
kind of
next month, isn't it?
Yeah. It's. I think it's been I mean, I played the beta for it. It was all right, but I think it's been taken back. What they said at E3, it's a completely different game now. So I think I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to pick that one up as well.
Wasn't the beta almost like the early access kind of thing? Wasn't it like a survival?
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was a survival game and stuff. But I think they've done away with a little bit of that. I think they've listened to feedback, hopefully. And really good, really good. But the main game for me is coming out next year, which is Resident Evil 2, the remake.
The more I see it, the more it looks.
Beautiful.
The
Brilliant. Can't wait.
body damage for the places where you actually shoot the enemies and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
that's
it's
going
all
to be
looking
so
good,
much
innit?
fun.
It's all looking good. That is.
That's going to make them a mint. Like that, it wouldn't surprise me if that is. I mean, it was a shame because I thought Resident Evil 7 was a fucking awesome game. I loved what they did with it, but there were still a lot of people that were like, "This isn't real Resident Evil." Even though it had the feel of the original Resident Evils, but because it was like this first-person, almost PT-esque sort of style game, there were a lot of people that weren't happy, and it did kind of underperform for Capcom. So it would be nice for them to sort of like just end up with this huge success on their hands with a remake of another game.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Absolutely.
hoping after that they redo Resi 3 because I think Resi 3 was a good game as well.
Yeah.
Resi 3
really good.
was fucked up because like you was constantly getting chased around by old
Yeah.
Stars.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
that was the Resident Evil Nemesis, wasn't it? That's what it was called.
Yeah, yeah.
Nemesis,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
And they could actually make that far better now because back then, because obviously the limitations at the time, you could pretty much tell which walls he was going to smash through, like when he was chasing you about and stuff. But with today's technology, he could pretty much pop up from almost
Exactly.
anywhere.
Yeah, they could learn stuff from like Alien Isolation on that, really, couldn't they?
Mm. Oh, that's a good game as well, mate. That's a cracking little game.
Yeah, you
Whether you're
imagine
looking for-
you imagine like stompy, powerful Nemesis with something like destruction mechanics of like Red Faction Guerrilla and the AI of Alien Isolation. You'd shit yourself.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
big time.
You looking forward to Tomb Raider this year, Webby? Because I know you'd like to be Tomb
Oh
Raider.
yeah, I love Tomb Raider games. Yeah,
I forgot about that.
It looks
that's
does
something
look
I'm
awesome.
definitely
Yeah.
looking forward to.
That does look good this year.
I've thing is, it's like what I've got such a backlog. It's like buying new games. It's like, should I do it? I don't know. I've already got the Shenmue 1 and 2 remakes on pre-order, which I'm going to obviously...
Is Bloodstained out this year as well?
Yeah, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is out.
Is it out this year?
I believe
Because I know they might. They released that like little 8-bit sort of like homage, didn't they, to sort of tide people over?
That's actually pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah, a lot of people have said it is fantastic, actually.
Yeah, I'm really liking it. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, the new Tomb Raider looks amazing. But I've still got on my backlog at the minute that I really want to play. I really want to finish Origins, but I just can't be asked. Far Cry 5, I really want to finish. And I really want to finish Ni no Kuni 2, but I need to grind my dudes, and that's kind of why I haven't played that for a while. And I've got Yakuza 6 sitting here, still in its shrink wrap, and I love the Yakuza games. I really want to play it.
That's supposed to be great as well.
But now I'm kind of like, well, they're bringing out a remake of all the other Yakuzas. Do I want to play them in order? So it's like, what do? I don't know. So
yeah, it might be worth you waiting to get. I'd probably suggest playing Kiwami 2 before Yakuza 6 if you can hold out.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, by the time I get around to it, Kiwami 2 may even be out already. So
yeah, should be.
Yeah, we shall see.
And then you've also got later this year as well. In fact, in the next few months, another game that a lot of people, if they like XCOM style games and JRPGs, Valkyria Chronicles 4.
Shit, yes.
Nice.
Oh
Yeah.
God, I need that in my life. So I've I don't know if anyone else has, but I've also played the second two that were on PSP, so 2 and
nice.
3, and they were fucking phenomenal. Like the second one's a bit more fun than the first, or it tends to be a bit more fun. Valkyria Chronicles 1 is still my favourite of the series. 2 is set in like a military academy where you're a load of school kids doing all the school kid type stuff. Typical Japanese handheld game, right? 3 is dark. 3, you're the commander of a basically a penal battalion. You're called the Nameless. You just have numbers. You were done for crimes that you may not necessarily have committed, and you're working alongside Squad 7 from the first game, and it's utterly sick.
Cool.
Sadly, there's no audio translation, but there is a translation patch for the text at least.
Yeah, I will say, if you liked the original style games, I played the demo of 4 like a fair few months ago, and
nice.
it is proper old school.
fantastic.
Like, it is the old, because I know a lot of people, like myself included, when they announced Valkyrie Revolution, I was like, they're bringing out a new game, and then you see the trailers and you're like, hold on, this isn't really the turn-based grid combat that I remember. It was like this weird action RPG hybrid thing.
No, definitely looking forward to 4. When's that out?
I think it's October.
Sweet.
I mean, obviously, the biggest release date of games where you're just like, oh, I want all of those is February the 22nd, which is obviously next year, but that is Metro Exodus.
Nice, yeah.
Oh, that looks good.
Not too fussed, actually.
Anthem.
Yeah, yes.
And Days Gone.
Fair.
Is it Kingdom Hearts 3 around there as well, isn't it?
Oh, yes. That looks
quite
awesome.
possibly.
Yeah.
Is that January Kingdom Hearts or is it February?
I think it was early February, I think.
Too many good games.
Yeah.
Now, see, you think to yourself, like, oh, there's not much coming out. I mean, there's even a game out next month in Japan I want, which is Bullet Girls Fantasia. But I'll probably have to hold off on that for a little while, to be honest.
You like some weird games.
So do you.
Yeah, would you interest Just Cause 4, Webby? Because I know you like your Just Cause games, don't you?
No, I got really bored of the last one.
You're done with them now, you ain't?
Yeah, I fucking think they're boring as fuck now. I just can't be arsed.
There's obviously still a market for them.
Oh my god.
I will say, this gen, we have actually lost the Stunt Driver series and shit. Do you remember that? Where it'd be like, I think it's like on the 360 or PS2 era, it'd be like Stunt Driver 6. And it's like, this is still fucking going. Like, the kind of games that you'd walk into your local garage and they'd have them on a rack for a tenner or something. And you just think, hold on a second, they're not making any more Dead Space games, but yet you can fucking bring out another one of these. What are you on about?
Like, they're the ones that you'd find like on that blue shelf by the pasties in Morrison's.
Kind of, yeah, where you'd go and heat up your own donuts and stuff and make your coffee.
Fantastic. It's the one reason I miss Blockbuster Video, actually, because the old bargain bin.
Ah, yeah, the bargain bin was awesome.
And the weird musky smell when you went in there.
Yeah.
I don't miss that. That's just like month-old popcorn.
And like dusty old covers and where they probably haven't cleaned properly, or having piss heads wobble in there after the pub.
Oh,
yeah. It used to be hilarious.
Hire a bluey and accidentally piss yourself in the third aisle.
I had a friend who used to work there, and there was this bloke that always used to come in drunk and everything, and he's like, I'll take out my usual boys. Like that. It's like, what? And it's like, you know what I mean? And I was like, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, apparently he fucking... And he used to hire out bangers and mash. It was like a stupid fucking cartoon thing from the 90s or something, about a couple of monkeys.
I know what you mean.
They used to go in there singing the song "Bangers and Mash" because it was Chaz and Dave, wasn't it?
Oh,
did the
God.
theme song for it. But yeah, it's just weird. Yeah, so you miss all your weird local weirdos.
Yeah, I mean, I used to work in a bar, in several, in fact. But oh my god, yeah, just the crazy.
Well, I'm going to move on to another question.
Oh yeah, we're still on that.
So Facebook questions.
We've been on the questions longer than the fucking show.
So from Nikki Wilson, what are your 3 favourite game controllers of all time?
Xbox 360 controller is still the king for me, I think.
I just really love the GameCube controller. That was nice.
What?
The GameCube controller, I liked it.
It was all right to hold, but I found the X, Y, and ABs and that were like just odd.
Chunky little trigger button. I liked it.
Sizes and odd.
Okay, so my 3 favourite game controllers are original Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One.
What you like to do? Yeah.
No, because on the original Xbox, it came with the Duke, but then they brought out the controller.
The controller S.
Yeah.
S. Yeah, which was rumoured to be Sega helped him make that.
Well,
Sega
helped him actually design the Xbox as well. So.
Oh.
So I like the PS2 controller. That was nice.
Yeah.
And then Sony ran with it for all 3 consoles. Thank God we got a new controller for the PS4, because every time I go back to my PS3, it's like, oh, these analogs are fucking horrible.
If you want to go back to a controller and try and play again, try the N64.
Yes, that was odd.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's some weird.
I quite like the 64 controller.
You tried to go on a game. My mates had one. We had a little go on it, and it was this is going back in the day. It's good.
Yeah, they went from basic controllers to basically thinking, oh, how weird can we make this look, with like every subsequent console after. I mean, they've never really had like a bog standard controller, have they? Since I suppose the Super Nintendo, they've always been a little strange.
That's because they're Japanese.
Yeah, I mean, you think you had obviously, like you say, the N64, then you had the GameCube one, then you had the Wii, which was like waggling things with almost like a side-turned original NES controller with like 2 buttons and a cross D-pad. Then you went to the Wii U, which was like a giant screen with controller melded into it, and then obviously, technically, the controllers for the Switch are basically 2 paddle things, aren't they, that you snap off and move about.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Switch, they've basically taken the Wii U and gone, well, that box that was connected to the TV isn't really necessary.
We'll get rid of that. Yeah, we'll take that out.
Okay, so a quick question from me, just going back about games coming up this year. Is no one interested in Battlefield 5?
Not really.
Not really.
No.
I'll wait for it to go free on EA Access. I will use the 10 hours and wait for it to go free.
Yeah, just like Battlefield 1 did.
Yeah. That's how I play EA games now.
I mean, for me, it's...
I think the franchise is just kind of going downhill now. It's just not as good as it used to be. That's my opinion.
No, for me, it's like I'd only end up probably getting it for the single player, and then it's do I even end up getting through the single player? Because I generally probably wouldn't play much of the online, and then it's the kind of game that will constantly get bloated on your hard drive from DLC and updates and bullshit that you probably won't even own.
I think the end of this year, as we were saying earlier, the end of this year's games is going to be so strong. I don't think it's, I don't think people will play it as much this time. There's too much other good stuff out.
You've got so many games vying for your attention, like puppies in a fucking nursery.
That's why I don't think the new Call of Duty this year will do very well.
See, this is the thing. It's going to be a really interesting one to watch this year, because obviously the outcry between the purists of Battlefield and what they've codded up the new Battlefield and turned it into COD.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this could have been and then you think, oh, they've gone and fucking shivved themselves on stage, like in front of everyone, when this was the year that like they should have basically romped Call of Duty, because Call of Duty's gone and done all that. But then this year, Call of Duty have basically gone, hold my pint, and done a complete load of fucking random shit. Like, did we mention about the season pass being only accessible like for people who buy the most expensive version of the game?
What?
It's just a bundle in with the most. You can't actually separately buy the season pass, and you won't be able to separately buy the DLCs. The only way you will be able to access the DLC content is if you have the season pass, which is like 50 quid or 40 quid.
Do you know what?
$50 or 40 quid. It's a piss take.
Go eat an entire buffet of dicks.
Do you think they'll dislodge like PUBG and Fortnite though? Do you think this? I think they've lost the crowns. I think they have. I don't ever see anyone playing them.
Possibly, no. I mean, you will still have the diehard people that like. I mean, a lot of it is fueled by, like we was talking about this last week, like the Twitch lot and the YouTube streamers and stuff. There are certain ones that will just stream and play certain games all the time. Like, I'd probably go slightly mad if I was playing the same sort of shooter over and over, day after day after day, kind of thing for an audience. But I don't know.
Yeah, but I think what Paul was saying is right though, because I remember last gen it was Call of Duty versus Battlefield, and those were the big daddies. You know, going on like 7-8 years. Those were the crowns. Every year, your friends list would be playing one of those 2 games. And
at that time.
And now it's all about Fortnite. And that's it. Like
Fortnite, PUBG, and
whenever I load up my Xbox,
Overwatch,
my friends list, it's literally Fortnite or PUBG. Yeah, and it's like those are the only multiplayer games that people are playing. It's really bizarre.
Going back to, I think someone said it right at the very beginning. Forza Horizon 4 will be, and it's going to, if it's on Game Pass as well, that will do really well this year.
Oh, it
and
is.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it as well.
Yeah.
That was why you went and put loads of stuff on your account, wasn't it, Webby, to get yourself ready for Forza?
Well, yeah, because I was just thinking, well, I've got Game Pass, Forza, and then all I need to do is buy the DLC for my VIP pass and stuff. Job done.
Looks awesome though, doesn't it? That looks just nice.
Have you been watching the weekly live streams that they've been doing on Mixer for Forza Horizon 4?
I will quickly say, while we're on the topic, Horizon 2 is on Games with Gold this month, isn't it? Yeah.
So Horizon 4, the seasons will change every week, which I think is pretty cool. So over a 4-week cycle, you have all 4 seasons, and you will basically, like, when you log on to servers, so everyone's going to be experiencing the same weather, which is cool. You can buy houses in the game. So you start off with a house you can buy.
See, is that actual housing? Because when I looked at a map, it looked a lot to me more like the old festival locations that were in like 3.
When I watched
rather than
stream,
actual houses,
it's actual houses that you buy.
Oh, right, fair enough. I hope so. Cause...
one of the house, and you were going into it and modding your car.
What's such a
council flat?
What'd you say, Paul?
It's such a good idea what they're doing with the weather and things. They were saying about, you know, 1 week you'll be driving past the lake, and the next week you'll be driving on it. I mean, that's just different. It's just a good idea. It's just going to be really good, I think. And yeah, hopefully the community has some good gaming nights on it.
Yeah, I don't think London's in it though. It seems to be a lot of it seems to be in Scotland.
Well, London is more of an urban playground, isn't it? You can't really do a lot of the off-roading, and because they have gone for more of a mixture, kind of a festival vibe with the entire series. But yeah, it would be funny if you could buy like a council house in London and then leave your Lambo parked outside, and when you go to get in it the next day, there's a load of kids jumping up and down on it, teeth scratching.
Well, I'm going to move on to the next question anyway. Carl McLemore says, if each of you had to do a cosplay, what video game character would you pick? That's
Eddie Riggs from Brutal Legend. Halfway there.
Nice. Darren?
I don't know, actually. I couldn't really tell you off the top of my head. Probably something pretty boring and basic, because I did that bloody before, actually, when I went to a family fucking costume party. I can't remember I went as some grumpy bastard or something. I think I went in my original clothes, but it was... Yeah, I think it was something like that. I said, yeah, I'm Victor Meldrew. I couldn't be bothered.
Paul?
I think something completely out there, like a Big Daddy from BioShock, something like that. Just
if you could go proper into town,
something like that. Yeah, something really massive.
You could go completely wild, and it wouldn't matter because no one would know who was under the costume.
Yeah, that would be something like that. Really cool. Be really pretty good.
I would do Master Chief because no one would know
nice.
it was me. There we go. Right, next question.
You want to wear your Mojo t-shirt over the top of it?
I might be a bit small.
I think a Hunter from Bloodborne would be a pretty cool cosplay, actually.
Yeah. Lee Gartland says, what are your thoughts on cloud gaming? Well, we've already really talked about this, haven't we?
Yeah.
It will suck.
Not gone down well.
I was thinking into the future.
Mm-hmm.
It'll suck until everyone has ridiculously fast internet. That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain kind of cloud gaming which I think will work well, and that is just literally the fact of you are logging into the game, which is that the entire game is located completely and utterly on a server, and it is just literally firing the information back and forth. All the computing is actually done on the server's end. But that's obviously way off.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of like basic design architecture things will have to change for that to really happen.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I mean, you'd basically have fuck it.
Yeah, let's just say it's shit and move on. Robin Farhi says, has anyone bought the PlayStation Gear VR yet? And what are your thoughts on it?
What's that then?
Oh, the PlayStation. Has anyone brought everything off PlayStation
What?
Gear yet? And what are your thoughts about the merch? Oh,
PlayStation Gear?
I've no idea.
Oh, merch.
No. That makes
Dunno.
no sense to me. Oh, I'm just going to talk about VR because Tom says, "What are your thoughts on VR now we are a year or so in? And has it died?" Let's just start.
Underused. It's underused. It's not dead. I think there's good stuff to come still. Like they said with the Sony one, didn't they? When that came out, they went, think of this of like the PlayStation 1 of VR.
Yeah. It's a niche.
Because it is the future. It is the future. Whichever way you look at it, for a certain style of and way of playing games, it is the future. I mean, you just look at films like Ready Player One. That's the kind of thing that we'll be striving for in, say, like 50 years' time.
I mean, bring on Matrix, but like the problem as VR as it currently stands is that it's limited by a couple of factors. You've got the hardware it's running off. So console-based VR is always going to be a step behind PC-based VR because you cannot chop and change your hardware. You're limited by the content you've got. Things like, with the release of the Vive and the Oculus Rift, you didn't have any full decent games that were majorly compatible with. No, like properly designed VR experiences, and I think that's what's seriously holding it back. I mean, you had a couple of really cool games and stuff. Elite plays really well in VR, but it's not a specifically designed VR experience, and that's
True.
what I think will get people truly into it. If it's a full open world immersive game that's made specifically for VR and takes advantage of that tech, and creates an immersive game world, it just needs to be a game that's designed for VR that people will play that's bloody good. And the third factor that limits you is human physiology, because I could play Subnautica for about half an hour and then I wanted to throw up in my waste paper basket.
It does. I think it does depend on the kind of games to a certain degree, because I've played ones like Rush of Blood where you're on a roller coaster and it works really well because it's kind of a shooting gallery on rails, but it completely works and it immerses you even more into the game because of the whole VR aspect to it as well. Yeah. But I didn't ever feel any nausea playing that. Well, whereas there have been a few others where I've been walking around and I've been like, oh, I don't know, hold on a minute.
Yeah, it's because of the way sort of the on rails things work. So I was fine playing Elite and I was fine playing Eve Valkyrie because your body in that is static, and you're controlling the movement of the craft around you. Whereas in something like Subnautica, you're using the left stick to control the camera, which is also the motion of what you're doing, and that kind of really jerks your brain around and throws your balance off, and it just makes you. It just feels wrong because it is. You've only got the feedback from your thumb and not from like your inner ear. So until they combat that, we're us pale pasty non-outsiders are a bit fucked really.
Well, the thing that I feel about VR is I just don't think the technology is there to make it.
No, it's not.
Super amazing. I mean, yeah, it's immersive, but I think until it becomes more affordable as well, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. And a way for like families to share and experience with headsets on, because at the moment it's a very solitary experience. So I wouldn't want to have a VR headset in my house because I wouldn't know what my kid or my missus are doing. Running around. Like if my kid's running around and smashing the place up, I would have no bloody idea. So then that needs something else needs to happen there.
I mean, that kind of thing to me is like goes back into what we were saying before about like in X amount of years in the future or whatever, when there isn't really consoles or whatever and you just connect to a server. That's when obviously the VR thing becomes more affordable to people, because you're not buying a console or anything to play it on, you're just playing the unit to play it through.
Yeah. It's stuff like you say about like Ready Player One, you're looking at things like Matrix is a bit far-fetched, but stuff like anyone ever watched Sword Art Online?
Yeah.
That kind of headset nerve gear thing. Stuff like that would be fantastic. As long as you weren't perpetually trapped in a video game that you could permanently die in, that would suck. But You know.
Okay, I've
Baby steps, right?
got 2 more questions on the Facebook page. Craig Wilson says, thoughts on Xbox Game Pass?
None whatsoever.
I
Fantastic.
like it. I think it's a great deal. You know, for the price that you get for it, £8 a month or whatever it is, and you get a massive library of games, and every future Xbox exclusive game that comes out, you get on launch. So, I think
If you've got
great.
kids, yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's literally like, oh, but Daddy, I want is a year's of Game Pass. Shut up.
Yeah, it's the same with EA Access, right? You know,
Like anything that comes out new for this system, you'll pretty much have access to. So
I mean, it's got a
won't
massive
be paid for a
library
new game.
already of really good games. So, I think it's a great way of gaming for people that don't want to spend a lot of money. And if you're new, if you've only just bought an Xbox, then fucking hell, you've got hundreds of games that you've never played, all just sitting there waiting. So
Yeah, I think it sounds good and the concept is great. I just don't have an Xbox, so you know.
It is really
They
good. I mean,
must
I
do a
got
game-
this.
Go on, Paul.
Carry on, sorry.
Well, I picked up the 3 months for $7.99. I've had the passes before, but I've used all them up now. And I say for the kids, it's really good. There's little games. I played put Shadow Complex on. I played that for a little while. It's I mean, the way the new games are just going to go on it from launch for $7.99 for 3 months, and then it's very easy to not do it for a month and then have it back for a month.
Mm-hmm.
I think for anybody, yeah. I mean, the kids are off on school, and it's brilliant because they've got everything on there. Yeah, it's really good.
Do your kids play Fortnite?
No, I will not let them.
Good
No,
man.
I keep them to very kind of like. I mean, my daughter plays Sims 4.
Silent
and I'm
Hill.
no, bit of Resi.
Should get her in that mannequin room in Silent Hill too.
Oh, that was awesome, wasn't it? When he used to play behind you.
No, it wasn't. No, it
That
wasn't.
That was
fucking
awesome.
terrifying.
They need to bring Condemned back, actually.
Yes, brilliant, Frank. That was good. But yeah, brilliant. Good value.
Nice. Okay, last question is from Nikki Wilson. I think this is aimed at myself and Matt, maybe Darren as well, because he used to work these funny hours. He says, do you like working night shifts?
No, it's pants.
I fucking hate it.
If you'd have spoken to me when I first started working night shifts, I'd have told you it was the fucking best because you don't have to bother really dealing with anyone and you're just left to your own devices, nice and quiet.
Yeah.
But then as you get older, it's like, where's my social life?
Well, it's that, and it's just the physical exhaustion of not sleeping at night. It's just not natural.
So, like, we've had this real problem in the last couple of weeks where it's been so fucking hot.
Yeah.
And, like, trying to sleep during the day, all that has been impossible.
Mm-hmm.
But I have been just a complete dick because I haven't been getting my Zeds in, and that's not ideal. We're not designed to function at night. But if you sleep with extra cash, then fair enough, I'll try and make it work.
So do you guys do like so many days on, so many days off? Is that how you guys work?
We have a weird revolving pattern where we get a rest week every 5, but then we work kind of a mixture. The rotation basically goes 4 nights, 3 off, a week of normal office hours. So then a following weekend off, then 3 days, then 1 off, then 3 nights, then 3 off, then 4 days, then a week off. And it's just like, you have to change your sleep pattern so many bloody times in it, especially on that one where you've just got the 1 day off. And it's just bollock.
That's where I was lucky. Like, I remember, because I did it permanent nights, but I used to have it where like they'd ring up and be like, oh, we need cover for this site on such and such a day. And I'd be like, oh, I don't know. And they'd be like, oh, don't worry, you get the Thursday off. And you try to explain to these people, go, right, yeah, so I'll be getting up at 2 o'clock in the fucking afternoon. And then you want me to go to sleep by about 9 o'clock that same day to get up at work for 5 in the morning to start at 6. You're having a laugh, mate.
Yeah,
like, there's no way I'll be able to go to sleep unless I drown myself in alcohol or just like headbutt a wall for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, you can make it work for a certain amount of time, but it comes a point in every young man's life where it's just like, fuck this.
Yeah.
It's not so bad. I mean, we work 12-hour shifts. you have to make exceptions for people that work shifts. So we get pretty comfortable. But it's not.
Oh, it's a good laugh.
We like to spoon occasionally when it's quiet, and
Nice.
I mean, plenty of takeaways, and
Yeah.
it's all good. But yeah, you can't do it forever. It's not a sustainable lifestyle. Having to do 3 12-hour day shifts, then have 1 day off, and straight into 3 nights is just shitty. I mean, there was a month last year where I did an entire month of night shifts, and I was just like nah.
I mean, imagine this back in the day when I was obviously doing the permanent night shift. During the winter months, when I wake up, it's dark outside. When I go to sleep, it's dark outside. I wouldn't actually see daylight for weeks on end.
Yeah, it's pants.
It's not healthy, mate. It's not healthy.
I was like a living vampire, mate, walking around. You go in shops and you see a group of people, and it's like.
That's funny. That's all the questions anyway. Is there anything else you guys want to add before we end?
Let's just hope it's not as hot this weekend as it was last weekend.
Yeah.
Well, I would say towards the end of the week. I'll say Friday, I was laying on my bed. Like, you've all seen SpongeBob SquarePants, the movie, when he's like stuck on that little chalkboard and he puts the fucking lamp on him and he just shrivels into this husk. That's exactly what I was like last Friday. Just on my bed, staring at the ceiling, just constantly sweating. It was that hot. You don't want to watch telly or do anything, like even the slightest movement, and it's like Niagara Falls.
Wow.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I just want to say before we end, do any of the guys who are listening in the Discord want to unmute and say hello? Ask a question, maybe?
Shy.
I think everyone's being shy. Come on, Clarky, you're typing away all the time, and Barry.
No shy guy.
And Jamininia, or how they pronounce your name. Jemina.
I'm fine.
Jemima.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Clarky.
Oh, Clarkies.
Hello, you're right.
How do you do?
Right, mate.
I found some bottle to come on and that.
Have you got any questions for us, Clarky?
I think you answered what I typed earlier, so I can't think of anything else interesting to say really. No.
Okay, well, it's nice to hear.
Good talk.
I was just saying, how was your paintball the other week? You look like the biggest target.
Yeah, tell me about it. I couldn't hide to save my life, so I got twatted like fuck. I did.
was it Welt City the next day? Was it like, waking up?
Honestly, I look like a freak. You know, I look like bloody like geezer out the Goonies in the end. There you go, this kind of thing. Yeah, I was lumps everywhere on my body. But it was fun. But it was about 30 degrees, and I was just sweating my tits off.
Oh my
God,
yeah, I didn't think of that.
Full head mask, I had to wear overalls. It was gruesome.
Yeah.
I'd have probably just been running through the bushes going.
Well, you're masturbating in the bushes or something.
Amazing.
No, I wanted to Rambo it though. I wanted to go like 2 of the guns and just go for it, but they wouldn't allow it, bastards. That would have been fun. But I had a smoke grenade and accidentally threw it to me, my own teammate, so he couldn't see fuck all. But
as long as there was no P. Jan Duncan incident, you're all right.
Yeah, I know. I'm blind, Dick. I'm blind. No,
Biker joke, grave joke there.
No,
yeah, hey man, Baker Groove.
Baker Groove. Oh yeah. No, I was just I was saying in the chat earlier. Has any of you guys? I don't know why I did it. I went on YouTube and watched the old episodes of Bad Influence. Do any of you guys remember any of that?
Yes, because I remember didn't the Violet Berlin didn't she pronounce I used to call it the SNES, but she used to call it something like the way they pronounced it was weird.
Yeah, she had a bit of a lisp as well, so that didn't help.
Correctly, yeah.
kind of.
Best part about it was old Namrud, though. Do you remember that? Is a code for Sonic on the Mega Drive.
Yeah, sticking stuff to his head, sticking coke
Yeah.
on his head and that. Yeah.
Those were the days of gaming. You don't have to
Oh,
pay
dude.
for your cheats.
That's it.
Yeah. Good
Lot
Does
of
anyone
saying-
remember how to get the debug mode active on like Sonic on Mega Drive?
Up, down, left, right, A start.
No. You
No.
there was a secret hidden developer mode where you had to physically lift.
It was
one of
during
cartridge.
wasn't it during the bit where he's wagging his finger
No.
on the title screen? Or am I thinking of the level select?
That was the level select.
Yeah.
There was
Right, there
what
we
you
go.
had to do was kind of physically lift the cartridge up a little bit
Oh,
so that
weird.
one of the contacts came loose. And what that would do would basically enable a developer mode where it basically turned the your character into a cursor, and you could sort of cycle through any of the placeable sprites in the game and pop them down, and then turn back into
that's
Sonic
cool.
and have like shitloads of like the little invincibility TVs and whatever.
Nice.
It was mental, but really fucking dangerous thinking about it.
Yeah.
One weird question I will put to everyone: do you actually think Patrick Moore knew what the fuck he was on about when he was on Games Master,
Probably not.
or whether he was just
No.
reading from a script?
He was loving it.
He loved it. He was probably just reading, like you say, reading all the queue and high on drugs, maybe.
Yeah, probably like, oh, what's all this thing? Oh, this is weird.
He was just a rich nutter, wasn't he? Which is
Mortal Kombat, what's that?
I didn't know how much like Dominic Diamond was like doing loads of innuendos and that back in the day, and then you watch it back,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
like, it's all knob jokes and stuff, isn't it? Waggle your joysticks and all this malarkey. So,
There's some good personalities on there. Old like him and there's like Dexter Fletcher took it over. Did old what's his face from Red Dwarf do it for a little bit as well?
did he? Craig Charles.
Craig Charles. I can't remember.
did
I
he?
know he did the weird VR one. He did like this really weird, really early. You know when VR was like people almost standing in like this triangular thing. They almost look like human Daleks. In the like proper old school, like early 90s VR simulations, there was like a game show that revolved around people in those.
Like Pyramid Head from Silent Hill.
Kind of, yeah.
Playing Lawnmower Man.
But everyone's sort of like on a
Yeah.
big giant trackable thing because obviously movement around in VR is weird, isn't it? If you're trying to run about and stuff, it's hard to do that unless you're on like a rotating kind of floor thing, which goes like omnidirectional kind of thing.
They tried.
I always
to do
wanted to have a go on. I always wanted to have a go on Nightmare. That's what I always wanted to go on. Always Nightmare looked awesome. Most people just tell you where to go and all that. That looked really good. That's what I wanted to have a go at. They brought that back now. Oh, that'd
the
be awesome.
deadly Ariadne.
Take 3 steps left.
Yeah. They actually were rerunning that on UK Gold, weren't they? Early in the
Really?
morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, they reran it for a while. I remember sitting there watching it and thinking, you know, when you used to watch stuff as a kid, you're like, this was never this shit, was it? You're like, yeah, yeah.
We didn't have much choice back then, did we? Kids
But,
today.
no, it was good days.
Yeah. So I'm just showing my age now. I'm just like reminiscing now because I'm getting on. That's all I seem to do now is look at old stuff on TV.
Because of new stuff shit, man.
You've been
Yes,
watching
yeah.
episodes of Super Gran then.
Oh, I ain't got that bad yet.
Yeah.
That was messed up as well.
It will.
I will say, Saturday afternoons on the telly back in the day was a good old family time, I used to think. You know, question of sport, bit of wrestling.
They'll bring wrestling back, aren't they?
Yeah. The old quiz shows and whatnot. Bit of catchphrase.
Oh, catchphrase, yeah.
Classic.
And Noel's house party.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
just a blobby. Mm.
I'm just watching an old video of Nightmare. So weird.
Oh. Go for spending hours now flicking through old videos and stuff.
Yeah.
See, I'd love to have done that because they always bumped in like a weird freak, and I could have easily been that freak skipping about in a loincloth. Ooh, I'll bring you 3 quizzes. Ooh, kind of.
They had a pedo jester as well, didn't
before you go through. Yeah, was it Tragard, wasn't it? And like he's like you say, his weird little
like
friend.
Weird friends. Yeah, covered somewhere. I don't know. I know there's some wafty stuff then.
You watch something really weird now, which I looked at. Watched an episode of Rent a Ghost. That is really weird.
That was innuendo, though, wasn't it?
That's full innuendo. That is filth. It's just Pornhub right up.
I mean, if you want an early representation of like, what was it, LGBT or whatever, or was it old thingy Claypole, mate? You couldn't get any more camp than that, could you?
Anyway, guys, it's been 2.5 hours. I think we should probably end it here.
Damn right.
Sad times.
Okay, cool.
Sad times. But yeah, thank you very much for coming on, everybody. It's been an awesome show this week. Really, really enjoyed it. Next week's show will be on Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Yes, 7:30 p.m. on Sunday. We should be home by then, shouldn't we, Matt? So, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's like, there's explosions.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll say Sunday 7:30 p.m. next week's podcast. Be there or be square. So from me, Mark Webb, Gamertag, Pearson ID, Steam ID, Webby317.
From Matt, setter, but I identify as rectangular. Thank you very much.
Spellcasting. It's Sensei Switch.
Thank you very much for having me on, guys. Brilliant. It's been a laugh. Daddy Akin, thank you.
Brilliant. So you can find us on Twitter at Mojo_INT. You can find me at Webby317. You can find our Facebook page, facebook.com/groups/Mojo Interactive. And you can find my new YouTube channel. Just search for Mark's Gaming Den and look out for future videos on there.
It is good.
Shameless plug.
They will be. There'll be some good videos. I might even get the usual podcast crew to join me at some point as well.
Holy shit! You'll all have to look at my face.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's the end of this week's show. So thank you very much. We will see you at Sunday at 7 p.m. 7:30 p.m. So goodbye.
Bye. Love.
Bye.